Welcome to my channel. In my channel, you can watch various type of fiction and fantasy audiobook. If you want more video like this, please subscribe my channel.
Pokemon. Parallel Daughter Revealed, I'm Speechless. Part 1. Alola Region, Mele Mele Island Beach. This beach was already occupied by people and Pokemon here for vacation. Further out on the sea, some people were riding Pokemon in a surf competition, and on the beach, others were playing or frolicking with their own Pokemon. Shuadong lay on a lounge chair, wearing sunglasses, drinking coconut juice while enjoying the sea breeze and sunshine. Shuadong was not a native of the Pokemon world, he was a transmigrator. One afternoon, he was taking a nap at home as usual, but when he woke up, he had arrived in the Pokemon world. The system that Shuadong bound to after arriving in the Pokemon world was called the Infinite Reincarnation System. Its specific function was to issue tasks to Shuadong. After completing them, he would receive rewards and enter the next reincarnation, and if he failed, he would start over. At first, Shuadong didn't want to grind. Anyway, the Pokemon world was a utopia, so he thought he would just let nature take its course. As a result, the system gave him more and more later on, which made Shuadong constantly grind tasks while inevitably sighing, so good. It's just that the tasks issued by this system, apart from serious ones like, become the champion, also included many rather bizarre ones. Things like, teach Groudon how to fly, participate in a Pokemon contest under the alias Cricketoon Man, and so on, which left Shuadong completely baffled. Fortunately, Shuadong had now successfully completed all the reincarnation tasks. When he opened his eyes again, he had accumulated terrifying power and resources, and the system had fallen silent, allowing him to start a new life. Just then, two tall women in swimsuits passed by Shuadong, laughing and talking. Shuadong immediately reached out to adjust his sunglasses and took another sip of coconut juice to savor it. These legs, ahem, this coconut juice is really white. Just as Shuadong was planning to continue savoring the snow-white coconut juice, a notification sound suddenly rang in his mind. Ding! Parallel World Exposure Livestream Room has descended. The straw in Shuadong's mouth fell out, and he couldn't even bother to activate his automatic lock-on with his eyes. What the heck? Another system again. Won't it let a guy have some peace? He complained frantically in his heart, feeling the absurdity of being rehired just after retiring. However, to Shuadong's surprise, the originally lively beach suddenly fell silent, and everyone was stunned in place. Shuadong frowned slightly. Apparently, everyone could hear this voice this time. Immediately after, a virtual screen appeared in front of Shuadong. This livestream room will broadcast the celebrities of the parallel world and their growth processes. During the broadcast, questions will be asked. Those who participate and answer correctly will receive rewards, while those who answer incorrectly will receive corresponding punishments. The first episode of the Parallel World Celebrity Series will begin in half an hour. Audience entering. Current seats are divided into ordinary seats and VIP seats. Subsequently, a column of chat boxes appeared on the right side of the screen. VIP chat group. Iris. Hello. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? Can we really chat? Misty. What is this thing? How did my thoughts turn into text? Professor Oak. It looks like real-time communication. To be able to pull so many people from different regions into a real-time chat simultaneously, whose work could this be? Clemont. How amazing. I have never seen this kind of technology before, I must start researching it as soon as possible. Gary. At Professor Oak, Grandpa, I've tried, this thing cannot be forcibly closed. And it seems there are more people in the ordinary seats, and they are already chatting up a storm. Lance. It doesn't look like technology that humans could master. Lorelei. If it's not controlled by humans, then what could it be? Pokemon. Leon. Hard to say, but those who can enter the VIP seats shouldn't be ordinary people, right? Jesse. What? James, Meowth, did you hear that? These are all big shots with status. It's the perfect opportunity to show off the prestige of Team Rockets. We are Team Rockets, traversing the galaxy tilde. James. White hole. A white tomorrow awaits us tilde. Meowth. You two idiots, keep a low profile until we figure out the situation, meow. Ash. Team Rockets. You guys are actually here too. Gary. Ash, you're in the VIP seats too. Ash. Gary, what do you mean by that? Why can't I be in the VIP seats? In the future, I will definitely become the world's #1 Pokemon master. Brock. It seems it's not just a simple division by strength. Besides those two from Team Rockets, even Meowth is in the VIP seats. Steven. Are there really this many people here? If anyone has rare stones to sell, please be sure to contact me first. For details, you can contact Devon Corporation. Wallace. Steven, you are at least one of the faces of our Hoenn region, could you watch your image? Steven. Image. Is image important? Wallace. Face. Steven, do you still want your face? Steven. I want stones. Wallace. Celestic Town Historical Research Institute. Watching everyone in the screen still laughing and joking, Cynthia's face was quite serious and earnest. Being able to forcibly connect so many people, and it couldn't be blocked or destroyed, she couldn't imagine what kind of existence could achieve all this. Is it Team Galactic? Cynthia took a bite of the cream ice cream in her hand, then dismissed the thought. Team Galactic couldn't possibly do it, otherwise, with such means, they would have already conquered the world. Then who could it be? Pokemon. Cynthia recalled the myths and literature she had read, but she couldn't think of any legendary Pokemon that possessed such ability. Pallet Town, Oak's Research Institute. Professor Oak also fell silent after sending a message in the chat group, because he couldn't understand the principle of the light screen in front of him. After instructing the others in the Research Institute to look up information, Professor Oak looked at the light screen in front of him and fell into thought. It's not human. Then, are we really talking about some kind of undiscovered Pokemon, or is it really someone from another world? Glug, glug, glug. Suddenly, the sound of boiling water behind him interrupted Professor Oak's thoughts, and he snapped back to reality. Wait, did I forget something? Turning his head to look, he saw that the instant noodles in the beaker had already clumped into a ball. Professor Oak shouted in pain, "Oh no! My instant noodles have overcooked again." Team Rocket's headquarters. Giovanni watched the screen in front of him indifferently, just gently swirling the red wine glass in his hand. Boss, how should we handle this thing? Team Rocket's executive archer asked with a frown. This thing had, after all, exceeded the scope of Team Rocket's control. It was hard to say if it was a bad thing or a good thing. Don't be anxious. The ones who should be having a headache right now are those guys from the league. Keep our subordinates in check and don't expose our secrets. Giovanni put down his wine glass and continued to watch the screen in front of him. Yes. Archer nodded and then left the office. Oak's Research Institute backyard. Ash angrily closed the private chat box with Gary. Darn Gary, I must win next time I battle him. Pikachu. At this moment, the nearby Pikachu was constantly licking the ketchup in the bottle. It was rare for Ash's attention to be drawn away by the livestream room, so Pikachu decisively dug out its favorite ketchup from Ash's backpack to enjoy. Alright, let's keep working hard for now, Pikachu. We are about to travel to the Unova region soon, so we have to train even harder. Back to Shuadong's side. Watching everyone in the VIP chat group chatting enthusiastically, Shuadong still lay on the lounge chair with a calm expression, then cracked melon seeds while watching everyone on the screen chat. After all, this so-called livestream room wasn't targeting him, so let it be whatever it wants to be. The countdown on the screen continued. The people discussing in the chat room also understood the so-called rules of this live stream. Simply put, it's a race to answer. Participants provide answers based on the video content. Answering correctly earns a reward, while answering incorrectly also results in a punishment. It's just unclear what these so-called rewards might be, or to what extent the punishment for a wrong answer would go. As the last second of the countdown on the light screen ticked away, the system prompt sounded. Ding. Now beginning the broadcast of the Parallel World Celebrity Series, Episode 1. The text on the light screen stabilized, turning into an eye-catching title. Parallel World Celebrity Series, Episode 1. Water-type Pokemon Master. Protagonist of this episode, Rainbow. Below the title, detailed information began to be listed. Special ability. None. Father. Shuadong. Mother. Misty. Starter Pokemon. Squirtle. Ace Pokemon. Gyarados, Melodic, Blastoise, Lapras, Dragonite, Vaporeon. Legendary Pokemon. Lugia, Suicune. Travel duration. 3 years. Achievements. Cerulean Gym Leader, Kanto Region Water Type Elite 4, Water Type Pokemon Master. PFF'd. Shuadong sprayed all the coconut juice from his mouth out, choking and coughing violently. Rainbow. Misty. Oh no, this seems to be an experience from when he completed a certain reincarnation mission. Wait, if this live stream exposes his entire life from that time, wouldn't his newly started slacker life be completely ruined? Realizing this, Shuadong quickly stood up to pack his things, otherwise, it would be bad if this live stream played his footage and he got recognized by others on the beach. General chat group. Wow, the protagonist has appeared. Rainbow. That's a nice name. Father Shuadong. Never heard of this person. Mother. Misty. Is that the Misty from the Cerulean Gym? I know Misty. She's the gym leader of our Kanto region's Cerulean Gym. She actually has a daughter. When did this happen? The title says this is a person from a parallel world. Does that mean this person doesn't exist in our world? But her parents, her mother is someone we know. That's not the point. Look at her achievements. Water type Elite 4. And Lugia and Suicune. Those are legendary Pokemon. Kanto region, Cerulean City. Inside the Cerulean Gym, Misty, who had just finished a gym battle and was directing her Goldeen and Starmie back into the pool, froze in place as if struck by lightning. Her eyes, usually full of vitality, were now wide open, staring fixedly at those lines of text on the light screen, especially, Mother, Misty. A blush spread from her neck to her earlobes at a visible speed, and finally, her pretty face flushed red. What kind of joke is this? Ah! Misty's scream almost blew the roof off the gym. She pointed a finger at the screen. Shuadong. Who is that? I don't know this person at all. Mother. Me. Daughter. What kind of pervert is making this up in this live stream? Gym leader Misty. This. A staff member hesitated to speak. Fake. It's all fake. Misty said, exasperated, pointing at the light screen. This is slander. It's defamation. I'm going to sue it. No, wait, I'm going to use hydro pump to blast it to pieces. Meanwhile, the VIP chat group was also getting lively. VIP chat group. Daisy. Oh, is it actually about our cute little sister? But who is this Shuadong? Ash. It's actually about Misty. Cough cough, she shouldn't blame me for watching this, right? Brock. Ash, I think we'd better not say anything right now. Violet. Tisk tisk tisk, I never would have expected it. Misty would be the first to be exposed, and as a mother at that. It's a pity we aren't at the gym right now, or we could have had a good time teasing her Tilda. Lily. At Daisy at Violet look. Cerulean Gym Leader is on the achievement list. Doesn't that mean the Cerulean Gym will be inherited by Misty's daughter in the future, so the three of us can finally get rid of the gym work? Daisy. That sounds nice, but we have absolutely no idea who this person named Shuadong is. Misty. I don't know this person at all. That's all stuff from a parallel world, it's all fake. Fake. The three of you stop daydreaming here. And, I remember your outdoor touring performance ended last week, why haven't you come back yet? Don't tell me you're hiding out there having fun without me. Lily. How could that be, Misty? After all, there are still many activities and wrap-up tasks to do after the performance ends, we are still at the venue Tilda. Misty. Really? Violet. Misty, don't overthink it, if our work was finished, we would definitely go back immediately. Daisy. Come to think of it, what would a parallel world brother-in-law be like? Is he handsome? What's his family background? Are there any photos to see? Misty. I already said I don't know this person, stop guessing randomly over there. Gary. The light screen has changed. Following Gary's comment, everyone saw a cover image appear on the light screen. Cover image. The young girl in the center of the image was wearing neat trainer attire, her striking orange-yellow long hair fluttering in the wind. By her side, a Pokemon with a blue body and deep purple mane, Suicune, was standing impressively. Further away, the snow-white legendary Pokemon Lugia was soaring in the sky. Misty. Who on earth is this person? Lorelei. Water type Elite 4, possessing both the recognition of Lugia and Suicune. Truly an amazing achievement. Bruno. Haha, I'm starting to get interested now. I wonder if there will be more powerful trainers in the parallel world coming to challenge us veteran elites. Wallace. Melodic, Lugia, and Suicune, what a truly desirable scene. I wonder what the Pokemon contest in that world would be like. Cynthia. Being able to achieve such things must be inseparable from the influence of parents and family. Lance. It's too early to jump to conclusions, let's keep watching. The image on the light screen gradually faded, and then the video began to play. It seemed to be a nursery decorated with great care, with sunlight streaming in through light blue curtains. The camera moved slowly, finally fixing on a small crib. A baby girl who looked like she had just been born, with soft orange baby hair and a chubby, flushed little face, was sleeping quietly with her eyes closed. Her eyelashes were long, and there seemed to be a faint, unconscious smile on the corners of her mouth, making her look healthy and cute. Beside the image, a concise text description appeared. Rainbow, first day of birth. Then, the scene switched. A Misty who looked much more mature, and even somewhat gentle and steady, was carefully holding the baby girl in swaddling clothes, her face filled with a joyful smile, her eyes so gentle they could melt. And beside Misty stood a young man with black hair and gold eyes, handsome features, and a gentle temperament with a hint of steadiness. He extended a finger, touching the baby girl's little hand extremely gently, his eyes filled with doting and love. VIP chat group. Misty. Misty. Who is this person? I'll say it again, I don't know him at all. Misty. And that expression of mine is too weird. How could I possibly make an expression like that? That is definitely not the real me. Lily. Oh my, Misty, why are you in such a rush? We didn't say anything, Tilda. Violet. Exactly, but honestly, this guy named Shuadong looks quite handsome, and his temperament is not bad either. Daisy. Black hair and gold eyes, handsome, he looks like a reliable man. Misty has good taste, Tilda. Misty. At Daisy, at Violet, at Lily, the three of you, that's enough. That's a parallel world. It's not me. It has nothing to do with me. Ash. Wow, so Misty will become like that in the future, she looks so, completely different from the Misty we know. Brock. Ash, were you about to say something and then swallowed it back? Ash. No, I didn't say anything, I just think that scene is quite heartwarming. Misty. Ash, shut up. What do you mean different from me? I'm usually very gentle too, okay. Lorelai. Hee, interesting, but I'm actually more interested in the father of this water-type Pokemon master. Lance. Don't jump to conclusions yet, the video has just begun, and, don't you find it strange? Cynthia. Mr. Lance, you mean? Lance. This person named Shuadong is completely outside my intelligence range, no matter how I check, I can't find a person named Shuadong. Alder. So this Shuadong, does really no one in Kanto know him? Being able to raise a water-type Elite Four in the future, logically speaking, he shouldn't be a nobody. Brock. I just recalled it too, I really haven't heard of this name, but looking at him, he should be a pretty capable trainer too. Professor Oak. Indeed. If the difference in the parallel world is just different choices, then this person should be someone who also exists in our world, unless. Cynthia. Unless he is a variable unique to the parallel world, a person who does not exist in our world. Steven. Interesting. But compared to that, I'm more concerned about his daughter, Rainbow. Having captured so many rare water-type Pokemon, there must be many exciting stories behind that, right? Wallace. Finally, a decent thing said. I also want to see what a family that can raise a water-type Elite Four is actually like. The image on the light screen changed again. Inside the nursery, Misty was changing the diaper of the baby in the cradle. Although one could see traces of her having practiced many times, she still seemed a bit clumsy in practice. She bit her lip, beads of sweat already forming on her forehead, and muttered to herself, Rainbow, be good, don't move. Mommy will be done in a second. Shuadong, holding a baby bottle nearby, couldn't help but laugh and cry at the same time. Honey, should I take over? No way. This is my first battle as a mother. How could I possibly lose to a diaper? As soon as she finished speaking, the baby girl in the cradle let out a wah and started crying, kicking her little legs wildly. Misty was suddenly flustered, her whole face falling. Rainbow, don't cry, don't cry. Mommy was wrong. Honey, come help me quickly. VIP chat group. Brock. PFF'd. Ash. Brock, did you laugh? Brock. I didn't. Gary. You clearly did laugh. Brock. Alright, I really couldn't hold it in. Misty. You guys. Stop laughing. Lorelai. It seems that Misty from the parallel world still has a long way to go in terms of parenting. Bruno. Ha ha ha, changing a diaper really is a tough battle. Back when I was taking care of Pokemon cubs, I also. Lance. Bruno, what did you say? Changing diapers for Pokemon. Bruno. Can't help it, I often train deep in the mountains. Besides, this counts as a form of training too. Daisy. Misty, look, even though you're a mother in the parallel world, you're still so cute Tilda. Misty. Daisy. Violet. But seriously, that man named Shuadong seems to have a pretty good temper, he doesn't get angry even when you order him around. Lily. And he even helps out on his own initiative. This kind of man is actually quite rare. Misty. That's enough, you guys. Who asked for your opinions? Leon. Although it might be a bit inappropriate, I'm suddenly a bit curious about how this child named Rainbow becomes a water-type Elite Four later on. Iris. Yeah, I want to see the process of her catching Lugia and Suicune. Those are legendary Pokemon. Steven. I'm more interested in knowing the background of her father. I keep feeling that this man is not simple. Cynthia. Steven is right. A father who can raise a water-type master, his story is probably no less complex than Rainbow's. Professor Oak. It seems this is no longer just a personal issue. This concerns the entire Pokemon world. The existence of parallel worlds, and the true identity of that person named Shuadong, these are all very worthy of attention. Misty. In any case, the choices made by the Misty from the parallel world have nothing to do with the real me, so don't mix them up. Brock. Misty, are you really not curious? The life of another you. Misty. A little bit, just a little bit. Ash. I get it. I also want to know if the me in another world has already become a Pokemon master. Gary. The you in another world is probably still that same idiot. Ash. What did you say? The video continued to play, and this time seemed to have fast-forwarded quite a bit. The cradle had turned into a crib, and the baby girl in swaddling clothes had grown into a little baby who could sit and crawl. Her orange-yellow baby hair was thicker than when she was born, sticking softly to her head, and a pair of big golden eyes curiously sized up the world. Shuadong sat cross-legged on the carpet, with a row of palm-sized dolls in front of him. Squirtle, Psyduck, Poliwag, Shelter, all of them were water-type Pokemon dolls. Little Rainbow sat opposite him, waving her little hands randomly in the air, making babbling sounds. Rainbow, look at this. Shuadong picked up the Squirtle doll and waved it in front of his daughter. This is Squirtle, water type. Later, it can evolve into Wartortle, and then into Blastoise. It will grow 2 hydro pumps on its back. It's really cool. Little Rainbow reached out to grab it, missed, lunged forward, and landed flat on the carpet. Wah! Shuadong picked his daughter up, laughing and crying simultaneously, trying to snatch things before you've even learned to walk. Misty's voice came from the side. Honey. She's only how old, and you're already starting to teach her to recognize Pokemon. Early education, do you understand early education? Shuadong said righteously. A water-type master must be cultivated from infancy. What water-type master? Misty walked over, picked up her daughter, and glared at him. Rainbow can do whatever she wants in the future. You are not allowed to set a path for her. Shuadong spread his hands. I was just saying. Little Rainbow was held in her mother's arms, but she poked half her head out, her big eyes fixed on the Squirtle doll on the floor, her little hand reaching hard in that direction. VIP chat group. Professor Oak. This person, Shuadong, seems very unusual. Cynthia. And when he mentioned, water-type master, his tone was very natural, as if this matter was easy for him. Lance. So what is the background of this person named Shuadong? If he also exists in our world, there is no reason we wouldn't be able to find any information about him. Leon. Perhaps he comes from a very remote place. Like some unknown island. Wallace. Unlikely. A family capable of raising a water-type Elite Four cannot remain obscure forever, unless. Cynthia. Unless he deliberately hid his identity. Stephen. Interesting. A trainer with good strength who deliberately hides it, is it some kind of weird hobby? Cynthia. Mr. Stephen, please don't discuss this in such a frivolous tone. This is important intelligence regarding the parallel world. Stephen. Ha ha ha, sorry. But seriously, I want to keep watching more and more now. This person named Shuadong is definitely not simple. The scene changed again, this time to the pool at Cerulean Gym. Misty stood by the pool, holding Rainbow in her arms. Rainbow, watch closely, this is one of Mommy's favorite Pokemon Tilda. As soon as Misty finished speaking, a Staryu leapt out of the water, spun around in midair, and the splashing water refracted into tiny rainbows under the sunlight. Yeah, Rainbow reached out her chubby little hands and giggled. Misty's eyes lit up, and she turned to look at the side. Honey. Did you see that? Rainbow laughed. She's reacting to water-type Pokemon. Shuadong was sitting in a chair, holding a thermos, his face full of helplessness. I saw it, but honey, she's only 2 years old. She'd probably laugh at anything that moves, right? You don't understand. This is Bloodline Awakening. You said yesterday she was crying because of Bloodline Awakening, and the day before yesterday you said her hiccups were also Bloodline Awakening. Shuadong, shut up. VIP chat group. Brock. What the heck is Bloodline Awakening? Ash. Even though I don't understand it, it sounds super cool. Gary. Of course you don't understand, because there are too many things you lack. Ash. Gary, what do you mean? Are you saying my bloodline is no good? Gary. I am just stating facts. Lorelei. I actually think the term, Bloodline Awakening, is quite interesting. Misty. Did you come up with it? Misty. I don't know. That's what the parallel world me said. It has nothing to do with me. Cynthia. Silently taking notes. Wallace. Wait, that scene just now, the angle at which the Staryu leapt out of the water, and the trajectory of the water refraction, it would be quite good as a performance for a Pokemon contest. Stephen. The things you focus on are always so strange. Wallace. The strange one is you, okay. Others are watching a heartwarming family video, and your head is full of rocks. Stephen. My head is not full of rocks. Stephen. Raising a child and cultivating stones are the same principle. Give it the appropriate room to grow, rather than over-intervening. Wallace. Still talking about rocks. Phoebe. PFF'd. Glacia. Wallace is right. Stephen. That's enough, you guys. The scene changed again. This time, the scene was at the seaside. Rainbow was about 4 or 5 years old, wearing her hair in 2 little pigtails, crouching by the shore and staring intently at the water. Squirtle. A blue head popped out of the water. Squirtle blinked its eyes, tilting its head as it looked at the human toddler. Rainbow held her breath and slowly reached out her small hand. Squirtle looked at her hand, then at her face, seemingly confirming something. A moment later, it let out a Squirtle sound, took the initiative to nudge its head forward, and rubbed against her palm. Rainbow's eyes lit up instantly, and she turned back to shout, Daddy! Daddy! It rubbed against me. It likes me. From off camera, Shuadong's smiling voice could be heard. Yes, it likes you. Then can I keep it? You'll have to ask your mom about that, the gym is her territory. Rainbow immediately turned her head and shouted in another direction, Mommy. Can I keep it? Misty walked over, looking helpless. Ask it if it's willing to go with you first. Rainbow turned back and looked at Squirtle seriously. Squirtle, are you willing to be my Pokemon? Squirtle tilted its head and looked at her, seemingly thinking about something. Squirtle. Then, it nodded vigorously, jumped straight out of the water, and landed in Rainbow's arms, knocking her back 2 steps until she sat down on the ground with a thud. Rainbow hugged Squirtle, very happy. Great. I have my own Pokemon now too. General chat group. Ah, this is just too cute. Wait, Wait, was that Squirtle met in the wild? So Rainbow's first Pokemon is Squirtle, not given by her parents, but wild. How could it be so easy to encounter a starter Pokemon in the wild? It must have been prepared by her parents. But looking at that interaction, it seems more like Squirtle chose Rainbow itself. When I was 5, I was still wrestling with a Caterpie. Are you serious? Poster above. Wrestling with a Caterpie. I was very thin when I was 5. VIP chat group. Ash. Wow, this Squirtle chose her itself. Brock. This is very rare. When a Pokemon takes the initiative to choose a trainer, it means they see some kind of quality in that person. Ash. My Squirtle also chose me itself. Gary. So you're saying you're on the same level as a 5-year-old Rainbow? Ash. Gary, I'm definitely going to duel you today. Lorelei. Squirtle is indeed a very suitable Pokemon for novice trainers, but letting a 4-year-old child take care of a Pokemon, it is indeed a bit too early. Aya. My father let me encounter Pokemon at about this age too, although I cried for a whole day after being stung by a Tentacruel for the first time. Bruno. Ha ha ha, this is the destiny of a trainer. Professor Oak. Having one's own Pokemon at 4 years old is indeed quite early in the Kanto region, but considering that Misty is a gym leader herself, it's not too outrageous. The footage on the screen continued to play. The scene changed back to the interior of the Cerulean gym. Rainbow looked at the Squirtle in the water with an excited face, while Shuadong and Misty stood not far away watching. Squirtle, use water gun. A small jet of water shot out from Squirtle's mouth, hitting the target opposite and splashing water everywhere. Yay, awesome. Rainbow clapped her hands and jumped up. Shuadong smiled and said, it seems she has great talent. Misty was still a bit nervous. She's only 4. Shouldn't she learn theoretical knowledge first? Practical experience is the best way to learn. Shuadong paused. Besides, look at how happy she is. Rainbow had already plunged into the water, splashing around with Squirtle, her eyes crinkling into crescents with laughter. Misty was silent for a moment, her voice softening, all right. But you have to watch from the side, there can't be any accidents. As you command, Gym Leader. Don't call me Gym Leader. Then what should I call you? The mother of our child. Shuadong. Before Misty's shout had even faded, water splashed in the pool again. Rainbow was seen scrambling to climb onto Squirtle, her short legs kicking for a long time without success, until finally, Squirtle nudged her with its head, pushing her onto its back. Wow, Squirtle is amazing. Rainbow hugged Squirtle tightly, wobbling in circles in the pool, laughing until she swayed back and forth. Misty was about to rush over and pull her out, but was grabbed by Shuadong. Wait for what? She's only. Look. Misty followed Shuadong's gaze. Squirtle was swimming very slowly and steadily, its 4 short legs paddling rhythmically underwater. Although Rainbow on its back was wobbly, every time she was about to tip over, Squirtle would slightly adjust its angle to steady her. Misty was stunned. It did that on purpose. Yes. Shuadong let go and leaned back against the wall. This little guy is smarter than we imagined. In the pool, Rainbow was no longer afraid at all, lying on Squirtle's back with her face pressed against its cool shell, muttering something. Squirtle turned its head, looked at her with its round, shiny eyes, let out a Squirtle, and continued swimming steadily. Misty was silent for a long time. All right, she said in a muffled voice, maybe you're right. Yes. Don't brush me off. I wouldn't dare. You're clearly just brushing me off. VIP chat group. Brock. Why do I get the feeling that this guy named Shuadong is quite experienced in coaxing Misty? Ash. Does he? Isn't he just saying, yes, the whole time? Gary. That's why you don't understand anything. Ash. Oh, so you understand. Brock. Ash, you'll understand when you have a girlfriend in the future. Ash. Girlfriend? What's that? A female friend. Paul. Brock. Gary. Ash, you idiot. Ash. Why are you suddenly calling me names? Delia. Sigh, why is this child so dense? The footage on the screen continued to play. Beside the Cerulean gym pool, Rainbow and Squirtle were lying on the edge, soaked from head to toe, and both of them sneezed at the same time. Achoo. Shuadong held back a laugh and handed over a towel. Have you had enough fun? Rainbow took the towel but didn't dry herself. Instead, she earnestly helped Squirtle dry off. Squirtle can't catch a cold. It'll get sick if it catches a cold. Squirtle blinked its eyes, suddenly let out a Squirtle, and bumped into Rainbow's arms, rubbing against her. Rainbow giggled as she was rubbed. That tickles. Squirtle, stop rubbing. Shuadong looked back at Misty and raised an eyebrow, his expression clearly saying, "See, this child is a natural-born trainer." Misty snorted and turned her head away, but the curve of her lips betrayed her. VIP chat group. Brock. Wait, I have a question. Ash. What question? Brock. Rainbow dried Squirtle, but she's still wet herself. Gary. So what's your point? Brock. She'll catch a cold. Misty. At Brock, you're right. That idiot Shuadong, how can he let the child stand there wet for so long? Brock. No, I meant Shuadong should. Misty. I know, I'm scolding him. Ash. But Misty in the video seems quite happy. Misty. Ash, shut up. Lorelei. Hee hee, for such a young child to be able to naturally take care of a Pokemon before herself is indeed very rare. Bruno. This is the instinct of a trainer. When I first saw my Hitmonchan. Lance. Bruno, you were already 15 when you first saw your Hitmonchan. Bruno. You're right, it's indeed a bit different. Iris. This child is so cute. And Squirtle is so cute too. The first Pokemon I met when I was little, it also nudged over to me on its own. Leon. Pokemon that take the initiative to get close often become the closest partners. That's how it was with me and Charizard. Ryan. Oh, Leon, are you finally going to start telling the touching story of how you and Charizard met? I'm already prepared to yawn. Leon. Ryan, you. Just then, the video footage suddenly froze. Ding. It's question time. Generating random quiz question. Question. Which of the following is the most likely nature of Rainbow's starter Pokemon, Squirtle? A. Timid. B. Modest. C. Bold. D. Jolly. The buzzer round begins in 30 seconds. VIP chat group. Ash. Huh, why is there a question all of a sudden? Squirtle's nature. This depends on what it did in the video, right? Gary. Duh, what else? Ash. It just let Rainbow ride on its back and swam very steadily. That means it's gentle, right? Which option counts as gentle? Lorelei. Pokemon nature classifications are fixed. Gentle isn't part of this system. Ash. I don't know. What kind of messy classification is that? Who decided it? Professor Oak. Ahem, this was something I preliminarily summarized while researching Pokemon ethology, and it was later standardized by the League. Ash. Professor Oak, I didn't mean it like that. Professor Oak. It's okay, I know. However, the answer to this question isn't hard to determine based on Squirtle's behavior. Cynthia. It takes the initiative to get close to its trainer and can calmly take care of the child on its back in the pool. This Squirtle is clearly not timid. Lance. It's not timid. And judging by its behavior of actively letting Rainbow onto its back, its nature tends to be proactive. Clemont. According to the Pokemon nature chart, timid usually avoids contact, bold focuses more on battle performance, while jolly is lively and proactive. Bonnie. Big brother, stop reading the manual. Just tell us which one it is. Clemont. Wait, I'm analyzing. Leon. I vote for Jolly. The way it interacts with Rainbow is very similar to my Charizard when it was little, proactive, enthusiastic, and likes to play. Ryan. Oh, Leon, are you finally going to admit that your Charizard was actually a clingy little thing when it was young? Leon. Ryan, if you say another word, I'm muting you. Ryan. Can this thing even mute? Try it, Leon. Iris. I think it's Jolly. The way it actively nuzzles up to her is exactly like my Axew. Ash. I think it's Jolly too. It's having so much fun playing with Rainbow. Gary. Can you two use your brains? You're drawing conclusions just because it looks like it's having fun. Ash. Then you tell me which one it is. Gary. I'm still thinking. Ash. Ha, you don't know either. Gary. At least I won't shout out an answer without thinking like someone else. Ash. Of course I know. It's just. Scratch his head. Brock. You two, stop arguing. But having said that, this Squirtle's behavior is quite interesting. Its swimming posture in the water is very steady, and it can actively take care of Rainbow on its back. The nature these behaviors point to is actually quite obvious. Lorelei. Behavior like actively getting close to the trainer can't be timid. Option A can be ruled out. Bruno. That's right. Initiative is a warrior's instinct. Pokemon that strike first are warlike to the bone. Lance. Bruno, we aren't choosing fighting type Pokemon here. Bruno. All Pokemon are the same. Phoebe. So is it bold or jolly? I bet on jolly. Glacia. I also think it's jolly. Bold. Pokemon wouldn't be so easy to listen to a 4-year-old child. Clemont. Wait, did you guys notice a problem? Viola. What problem? Clemont. Correct answers get rewards, wrong answers get penalties, but what is the penalty? The livestream room didn't say. Leon. Steven. Gary. Clemont. So you were all discussing which one to pick, but didn't think about what would happen if you chose wrong. Clemont. This is a very important safety issue. If the penalty is physical harm or psychological trauma, then the risk of participating in the quiz is too high. We need to evaluate first. Bonnie. Big brother, calm down. Clemont. I am calm. I'm just doing a risk assessment. Cynthia. Currently, the livestream room hasn't stated the consequences of not answering. But based on the rules, since a buzzer mechanism was provided, only wrong answers should be penalized. Not participating shouldn't be an issue. Lance. So this is forcing us to take a gamble. Lorelei. It might not necessarily be a gamble. The information provided in the video is actually quite sufficient. Leon. That's right. A trainer's intuition is very important. I trust my judgment. Ryan. Oh, then what are you picking? Leon. You go first. Ryan. Why should I go first? Are you scared? Leon. Me, scared. I just want to see how bad your judgment is. Piers. How old are you two? Leon. Ryan. Marnie. Childish. Ash. Is the countdown almost over? System prompt. The buzzer round begins. Please press the button in the center of the screen to answer. A huge red button appeared in the center of the livestream, flashing the countdown numbers, 5, 4, 3. The entire chat group fell silent. The next second. Ding. Buzzer success. Congratulations to Team Rocket's Meowth for successfully buzzing in. The chat group exploded instantly. Ash. What? It's actually Meowth. This cat has such fast hand speed. Brock. I didn't expect Meowth to have such fast hand speed. Looks like it practices a lot. Jesse. Well done, Meowth. If we get it right, we'll get a reward, and we'll be one step closer to catching Pikachu. Meowth. HMPH, don't you know who I am? The hand speed I trained by sneaking around for food is no joke, meow. The Team Rocket's trio was currently in a forest. Jesse looked at Meowth with an excited face. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Which one do we pick? This is the first question. If we get it right, we might get something good. Jiro was still staring at the screen. Jolly. Following what those people in the chat group picked can't be wrong. Player Meowth, please answer. Which nature does Rainbow's starter Pokemon, Squirtle, lean towards? Seeing the countdown for the question was about to end, Meowth quickly answered. I choose D. This Squirtle's nature is jolly, meow. VIP chat group. Ash. So will the answer be D. Brock. Most likely. Alder. You young people are discussing so lively. However, I think the answer might be simpler than you think. Suddenly, a bright red notification popped up on the light screen. Incorrect answer. Penalty. Forcibly forget all learned human language and related memories, revert to an ordinary Meowth, for 24 hours. In reality, Meowth cried out in disbelief. What? Impossible. How could I have answered wrong, meow? Before it could finish speaking, an invisible force enveloped it. The human speech in Meowth's mouth suddenly jammed, it could only emit, meow, meow, growls. Its originally sharp eyes became dull, and it completely reverted to the appearance of an ordinary cat. Jessie and Jiro were stunned and quickly leaned in. Meowth. What's wrong with you? Say something. But no matter how they shouted, Meowth would only meow. It was as if its previous intelligence had vanished. It circled around the two of them and would occasionally rub against their pant legs. This scene was also displayed through the light screen. The livestream room went silent for a moment, then erupted into an even greater commotion. Ash. Whoa, isn't this penalty too harsh? Directly stripping away the ability to speak. Brock. Forcibly turning into an ordinary Meowth, even losing related memories, it's too terrifying. Professor Oak. Being able to directly change a biological state, this power far exceeds the scope of Pokemon abilities. May. So scary. Good thing I didn't buzz in. System prompt. Incorrect answer. Correct answer. B. Modest. VIP chat group. Ash. What? Modest. Isn't it quite lively? Gary. That's why I say you only look at the surface. That Squirtle didn't jump around from the beginning. The way it approached Rainbow was by moving closer slowly, not pouncing directly. Brock. Gary is right. Jolly. Pokemon are more outgoing. For example, Ash's Pikachu, it jumps when happy and shocks when angry. But this Squirtle's movements in the water were always steady, rather than fast. Professor Oak. Exactly. Modest. Nature Pokemon are usually not good at expressing emotions, but their loyalty is often higher. After this Squirtle got Rainbow on its back, it didn't swim around excitedly, but paddled slowly and steadily. This shows that it only acted after confirming the safety of the child on its back. This is typical, modest, nature behavior. Cynthia. Professor Oak's statement is indeed rigorous. However, what I'm more curious about is, can this livestream room directly and accurately determine a Pokemon's nature? Lance. If it can do that, it means it can read a Pokemon's deep data. Clemont. This level of technology is likely at least an era ahead of us. Gary. Stop analyzing the technology for a second. Is that Meowth from Team Rocket's okay? In reality, Jessie held Meowth, who could only meow, her face full of anxiety. Meowth. Say something. Even if you scold me, that's fine. James crouched nearby, took out his finger, and waved it in front of Meowth's eyes. Meowth tilted its head to look for a moment, then extended its paw and swatted randomly without any pattern. It really has become stupid. James's voice trembled. No kidding, I can see that. Jessie held Meowth. 24 hours, we have to wait 24 hours for it to change back. Meowth yawned in her arms, rolled over, and exposed its belly. Jessie. James. Is it treating us like it's litter box scoopers? James asked in a low voice. Shut up. VIP chat group. Jessie. Ah, Meowth. Does anyone have a way to make it change back? Think of something quickly. James. Please, I beg you. As long as you can help Meowth recover, we, Team Rockets, are willing to. No, I am willing to give away my entire prized bottle cap collection. Ash. Bottle caps. Who wants your bottle caps? Brock. Wait, calm down first. The penalty description says it lasts for 24 hours, which means it will automatically recover after 24 hours. Jessie. 24 hours. Do you know how long 24 hours is? Meowth doesn't even recognize me now. James. It just went to chase its own tail. Jessie. Don't say another word. James. I'm sorry. The image on the light screen started moving again. This time, the time jump was more obvious than before. Rainbow had grown from a 4 or 5-year-old toddler into a 7 or 8-year-old girl. Her long orange-yellow hair was tied into a neat ponytail, her golden eyes were sparkling, and she still had baby fat on her face. In the backyard of the Cerulean Gym, Rainbow was squatting by the pond. The Squirtle in front of her, no, it was no longer a Squirtle. Wartortle. It stood on a rock by the pond, its tail held high, with an extra pair of wing-shaped ears. The whole turtle looked a size larger than during its Squirtle phase, and its gaze was much calmer. Rainbow rested her chin on her hands, staring at it. Wartortle, you don't seem to smile much after evolving. Wartortle blinked, gave a Wartortle sound, and tilted its head to look at her. It's not that you can't smile, it's just. Rainbow thought for a moment. Before, you would actively nuzzle me when you saw me, but now it's always me going to find you. Wartortle was silent for 2 seconds, then jumped off the rock, walked slowly to Rainbow's feet, and nudged her calf with its head. Wartortle. Rainbow was stunned for a moment, then smiled and reached out to touch its head. All right, you're still you. Wartortle narrowed its eyes and made a Wartortle sound. VIP chat group. Ash. Wait. Squirtle has already evolved into Wartortle. What did we miss? Gary. Isn't it normal for the video time to jump? You can't show every single day. Ash. But I want to see the evolution process. That's fighting together, growing together, and finally evolving at a critical moment. That kind of scene is so exciting. Brock. Ash, this is just a growth record. Not all evolutions happen during battle. Ash. That's too boring. Cynthia. No, I actually think this is quite interesting. This Wartortle's personality didn't change much after evolving, which shows it wasn't forced to evolve, but rather grew naturally to that stage. Professor Oak. That's right. There are two common modes of Pokemon evolution. One is stress-induced evolution, triggered by battle pressure, and the other is natural evolution, after sufficient accumulation. The former often makes Pokemon exhibit stronger aggression after evolving, while the latter, like this Wartortle, has a more stable personality. The video on the light screen continued to play. Wartortle. Water gun. A jet of water, several times thicker than during its Squirtle phase, shot out from Wartortle's mouth, accurately hitting the bullseye 10 meters away, sending splashes everywhere. Yay! Rainbow jumped up, turned around, and rushed to Shuadong nearby. Dad, did you see that? Wartortle's water gun hit rate is 100%. Shuadong sat on a folding chair, holding a teacup in his hand, and took a slow sip. I saw it, but did you forget something? Rainbow paused, tilted her head to think, suddenly went, ah, turned around, and ran back to Wartortle's side, squatting down to hug it. Good job, Wartortle. You're amazing. The water gun just now was super accurate. Wartortle called out. Wartortle, rubbed its head against Rainbow's palm, and narrowed its eyes into slits. Shuadong nodded with satisfaction. Remember, Pokemon are companions. You can be happy for its strength, but you cannot be happy only because of its strength, you must also acknowledge their efforts. I know. Rainbow stood up. I'm not a 3-year-old kid. How do I remember you saying the same thing last year? That's because I wasn't a 3-year-old kid last year either. Shuadong couldn't help but laugh out loud, reached out, and rubbed the top of Rainbow's head. All right, I know you've grown up. Rainbow dodged his hand and pouted. Don't rub my head. I won't grow tall. Your mom said the same, but she. What did you say? Misty's voice came from behind. Shuadong's smile froze on his face, and he slowly turned his head. Misty stood at the gym entrance with her hands on her hips, followed by a Staryu and a Starmie, with an, I heard that, expression on her face. I said. Shuadong didn't change his expression. Misty's height is just right. Any taller wouldn't look good. HMPH. Misty snorted, but the corners of her mouth were clearly turned up. You're sensible. VIP chat group. Brock. Is this the legendary survival instinct? Gary. It clearly is. Ash. But Misty really isn't tall. Misty. Ash, what did you say? Ash. I'm just telling the truth. Brock. Ash, some truths shouldn't be spoken. Ash. Why? Is there something wrong with telling the truth? Gary. There isn't, but if you say it, you'll get scolded. Ash. That's not reasonable, right? Delia. Sigh, this child takes after his dad. Ash. Mom, why are you also? The video continued to play. This time, they were by a lake in the wild. Rainbow and Wartortle stood on the shore, facing a wild Poliwag. The Poliwag looked very nervous, its tail flicking rapidly in the water, its eyes fixed intently on Wartortle. Rainbow crouched down and softened her voice. Don't be afraid, we won't hurt you. Wartortle also took a step forward, tilting its head and letting out a, Wartortle, cry. The Poliwag hesitated for a moment but did not back away further. Rainbow took a piece of Pokemon food from her pocket, placed it in her palm, and slowly reached out. Would you like to eat? The Poliwag stared at her hand, then looked at Wartortle, seemingly confirming something. About a minute passed. The Poliwag finally swam over and cautiously took the food from Rainbow's palm. Holding the food, it looked at Rainbow, and the movement of its tail slowed down. Rainbow smiled. Is it good? The Poliwag chewed twice, let out a Poliwag sound, and swam a little closer. Rainbow took out another piece. This time, the Poliwag finished eating directly from Rainbow's palm and even rubbed against her fingers. General chat group. This child's affinity is way too strong, right? It's approaching on its own again. The Poliwag is wild, right? It's wild. Looking at how nervous it is, it doesn't seem like someone released it. Does this child have some kind of special constitution? Say, is she going to capture it just like that? Probably not, right? She hasn't even thrown a ball. Not necessarily. Some trainers can capture Pokemon without using balls. That would have to be a very experienced trainer, right? A 7 or 8-year-old child. Look at her eyes, I think she has a chance. The video continued to play. Rainbow finished feeding the third piece of Pokemon food, stood up, and brushed the dust off her knees. Alright, it's time for us to go back. The Poliwag looked up at her, its tail swaying slowly. Rainbow crouched down and smiled, petting its head. If you want to come with us, you can come along. If you prefer it here, then you can stay here. The Poliwag tilted its head, seemingly thinking. Then it let out a Poliwag sound and turned to swim into the lake. Rainbow watched its retreating figure, stunned for a moment, then smiled. Alright, you choose here. Wartortle let out a Wartortle sound, as if saying, goodbye. Let's go. Rainbow turned around. Mom is still waiting for us to eat. The girl and the Pokemon walked back along the path by the lake. After walking a distance, Rainbow stopped and looked back at the lake. The Poliwag was floating on the surface of the water, watching her from afar. Rainbow waved. Goodbye. Then she walked away without looking back. Behind her, the Poliwag jumped on the surface of the water, splashing a small spray. General chat group. Ah, why is this child so sensible? No ball thrown. Really didn't throw one. I'm crying. This child's values are just too upright. This is what a real trainer is, respecting the Pokemon's choice. If it were me, I would have thrown a ball. That's a Poliwag. How strong would it be if it evolved into Poliwrath? That's why you can't become Rainbow. That stings. VIP chat group. Max. Not capturing it. But she fed it twice, and the Poliwag is also very close to her. Max, not every Pokemon that is close to you needs to be captured. Max. I know, I just think it's a pity. The Poliwag clearly likes her very much. But the Poliwag likes this lake more. This is its choice. Max. Max, capture is not the only choice. Max. I know, I just think, she is so amazing. Wallace. May is right. There are many types of relationships between trainers and Pokemon. Some are partners, some are friends, and some are just passing acquaintances. Bruno. That's right. True experts know how to respect a Pokemon's choice. Lance. You actually said something right for once. Bruno. Every word I say is right. Professor Oak. This child's attitude towards Pokemon is indeed commendable. Being willing to give Pokemon the right to choose is the foundation of becoming an excellent trainer. Cynthia. Professor Oak is right. And judging by how she takes care of Wartortle, Shuadong and Misty's education of her is very successful. Lorelei. This child's judgment is indeed stronger than many adult trainers. Bruno. This is innate. Some people are born knowing how to get along with Pokemon. Iris. I really like this child. I also want to see her later story. Leon. Me too. She is only 7 or 8 years old now and already has such judgment. In a few more years, to what extent will she grow? Ryan. So the next part should be the story of her official journey, right? Cynthia. What I am more curious about is when she met Suicune and Lugia. Steven. Oh, finally someone mentioned the main point. Wallace. Haven't you been wanting to say that for a while? Steven. Aren't you curious how a 10-year-old child captured Suicune and Lugia in the future? Brock. Mr. Steven is right. Suicune and Lugia are both legendary Pokemon. To gain their recognition. Gary. I guess the focus might not be on Rainbow. Ash. Not on Rainbow. Then on whom? Gary. Her father. Ash. You want to say Shuadong is not simple again? Gary. This person is definitely not an ordinary trainer. Since that's the case, how could he not value Rainbow's growth? Cynthia. Gary is right. And judging from the previous clips, Shuadong's knowledge of Pokemon, as well as the way he educates Rainbow, doesn't look like a father who would let his child grow up on her own. Lance. So what is your conclusion? Cynthia. It's too early for a conclusion, but this person named Shuadong is very likely the hidden protagonist of this video series. The screen changed again. Rainbow stood at the edge of the Cerulean Gym Challenge field, with Wartortle at her feet. In the center of the field, Misty was accepting a battle from a challenger. The challenger sent out Electabuzz. Electric type has an absolute advantage over water type. Although Misty's Starmie was agile, it was forced to retreat repeatedly by Electabuzz's Thunder Punch. Rainbow clenched her fists and bit her lip. Wartortle. Wartortle rubbed against her calf. I know Mom won't lose. Rainbow whispered. But, that person's Electabuzz is so strong. On the field, Starmie was finally hit, its body stiffened, and it fell straight to the ground. Starmie is unable to battle. The winner is the challenger Yuta from Vermilion City. The challenger on the opposite side immediately raised his fist and cheered upon hearing the referee's announcement. Misty recalled Starmie. There wasn't much frustration on her face, just a calm sentence, that was well fought. Rainbow ran over. Mom. Are you okay? I'm fine. Misty rubbed her head. Winning and losing are normal. What's important is how to win it back next time. Rainbow looked back at Yuta on the other side of the field, then looked at her own Wartortle. Wartortle. Let's go train. Wartortle. Misty was stunned for a moment. Now. Rainbow was already pulling Wartortle and running towards the backyard. I want to become stronger. And then help Mom get revenge. Revenge? Misty was dumbfounded. This isn't called revenge, this is called. I don't care what it's called. Anyway, I want to beat him. Rainbow's figure disappeared at the end of the corridor. Misty stood in place, watching the direction her daughter ran, silent for a long time, then turned her head to the side. Husband, did you teach her that? Shuadong chuckled and handed over a cup of hot tea. Really not this time. Then who does this unyielding spirit of hers resemble? Like you. Misty snorted. Like you. The two looked at each other and both smiled. VIP chat group. Ash. Wow, Rainbow is so full of fighting spirit. Seeing her mom lose, she wants to help her mom get revenge. Gary. It's only because that person named Shuadong is guiding her from the side, haven't you noticed? Every time Rainbow has an idea, he doesn't stop her, just watches from afar. Cynthia. Gary observed very carefully. This kind of educational method, giving the child enough space while remaining present, is actually very difficult to achieve. Leon. I am quite curious, how will Rainbow train? A 7 or 8-year-old child, how strong of a training method can she have? Ryan. Leon, you wouldn't be thinking of stealing her methods, would you? Leon. Do I need to steal a little girl's training method? Ryan. Then why are you asking? Leon. I am just curious. Ryan. That means you want to steal her methods. Leon. Ryan, shut up. The scene cut to the backyard of the Cerulean Gym. The sun was setting, and the pool reflected golden light. Rainbow stood by the pool, with Wartortle floating in the water in front of her. Wartortle, use rapid spin. Wartortle retreated into its shell and spun rapidly on the surface of the water, splashing a circle of water. Good. Encore. Water gun. Wartortle poked its head out of its shell and sprayed a jet of water into the air. Not high enough. Rainbow frowned. Higher. Wartortle tried again. The water jet was higher than before, but it still didn't reach the spot Rainbow had expected. Wartortle. Rainbow crouched down and stared at it. Are you tired? Wartortle. Wartortle shook its head. Then why can't you hit that spot? Wartortle was silent for a moment, then swam slowly to the edge of the pool and nudged Rainbow's hand with its head. Rainbow was stunned for a moment. Are you saying, I should think of a way too? Wartortle. Wartortle nodded. Rainbow sat by the pool, hugging her knees, staring blankly at the water. After a while, Shuadong's voice came from behind her. What are you thinking about? Dad. Rainbow didn't turn around. I'm thinking, if Wartortle's training results aren't good, is it my fault? Why would it be your fault? Because I'm its trainer. Rainbow turned her head. If it can't do it well, my commands must be the problem. Shuadong stared at Rainbow for a while, then chuckled. In that case, how about I have a battle with you to see exactly where the problem lies? Rainbow was taken aback. A battle against Dad. Shuadong stood up and walked to the other side of the training field. Don't you want to become stronger? Come on. Rainbow and Wartortle exchanged a look, then nodded. I understand. After Rainbow and Wartortle stood in position, Shuadong took a pokey ball from his waist and tossed it gently. A flash of red light. A dragonite appeared in the center of the field. It looked like the common, round, and adorable-looking dragonite. But its eyes were not gentle, they were sharp and calm, like a finely honed blade. When it landed, it didn't even make much of a sound, it just squatted slightly, absorbing all the excess impact. Then it raised its head and looked at the Wartortle opposite it. Just one look. Wartortle's body visibly stiffened, and it subconsciously took half a step back. Wartortle! Rainbow shouted immediately. Don't be afraid. Wartortle stopped, looked back at Rainbow, took a deep breath, and straightened its body again. Shuadong watched this scene, the corners of his mouth slightly lifted. Are you ready? Ready. Rainbow clenched her fists, her eyes full of fighting spirit. Wartortle, use Psybeam. Wartortle opened its mouth, and an ice blue beam shot toward Dragonite. Dragonite didn't move. Shuadong didn't give an order either. The moment the Psybeam was about to hit Dragonite, it just tilted its head slightly, and the Psybeam flew past its cheek and hit the wall behind it. There wasn't even the slightest change in expression on Dragonite's face. Rainbow was stunned. Too slow. Shuadong's voice was calm. Your Wartortle's move power isn't bad, but the tell before it attacks is too obvious. When it inhales, its shoulders shrug first, that movement is enough for an opponent to judge the direction. Rainbow bit her lip and looked at Wartortle. Wartortle, encore, water gun. This time, Wartortle wasn't afraid and suddenly spat out a jet of water. Dragonite tilted its head to dodge again. But this time was different. Just as the water jet flew past, Wartortle's second water gun followed, almost like a rapid-fire shot. Dragonite leaned back slightly, and the two water jets flew past it one after another, still without touching it at all. Not bad. Shuadong nodded. The idea of continuous attacks is correct, but the interval is still too long. Wartortle, use rapid spin. Wartortle retracted into its shell and charged at Dragonite, spinning. Dragonite, use your wings to block it. Dragonite spread one of its wings and blocked gently. Wartortle's spinning tackle hit Dragonite's wing with a dull thud, and was immediately bounced back. Wartortle rolled a few times in the air, barely landing, and stumbled 2 steps before standing steady. Rainbow's pupils contracted, not because Wartortle was bounced back, but because when Dragonite caught the blow, its wing didn't shake at all. It was as effortless as catching a flying pebble. The power of rapid spin is also insufficient. Shuadong said. When Wartortle spins in its shell, its center of gravity is unstable. When it encounters a tough opponent, it loses direction. Rainbow clenched her fists and said nothing. What's wrong? Giving up already? There was a hint of a smile in Shuadong's tone. No. Rainbow looked up. I won't give up. Wartortle. Again. Shuadong looked into his daughter's eyes and nodded. Very well. From now on, I won't just defend. Dragonite. Extreme speed. The moment Shuadong finished speaking, Dragonite disappeared. It wasn't a fast movement that could be tracked by the naked eye, it was a true disappearance into thin air. The next second, Dragonite appeared behind Wartortle. Before Wartortle could even turn around, it was gently swept by Dragonite's tail. Wartortle rolled twice and lay on the grass, not moving for a long time. Seeing this, Rainbow froze completely. Wartortle. VIP chat group. Gary. Holy crap. Ash. Gary. Don't use foul language. Gary. No. Did you guys see that? That Dragonite. That aura. That is definitely not an ordinary Dragonite. Brock. Indeed, that sense of pressure, it's at least at the elite level. Lance. More than that, the training level of that Dragonite, in our world, is at least champion level. Lorelei. Lance, are you serious? Lance. I am very serious. Pay attention to the movements of that Dragonite, the force and angle of every tail sweep are exactly the same. This shows that its control over power is precise to the millimeter. There are no more than 20 trainers in the world who can achieve this. Bruno. And he is battling his own daughter, he clearly held back. Cynthia. So the question returns to the starting point, who exactly is this Shuadong? Steven. I'm getting more and more curious. A trainer with at least champion level strength, yet there are no records of him at all, as if he appeared out of thin air. Wallace. Appeared out of thin air. Cynthia. Wallace, what did you think of? Wallace. Nothing, just think the term is interesting. Alder. Hey, can you guys not make it sound so creepy? Maybe he's just a low-key expert. Cynthia. Mr. Alder, a champion-level expert can't really be that low-key, can they? The battle in the video continued. On the grass, Wartortle moved. It slowly crawled up from the ground, shook its head, let out a Wartortle sound, and turned to face Dragonite. Rainbow looked at Wartortle and took a deep breath. I understand. She looked up at Shuadong. Dad, again. Shuadong looked into his daughter's eyes and smiled. Okay. This time, Rainbow didn't rush to attack. She crouched down, leveled her gaze with Wartortle, and whispered a few words. Wartortle nodded, then turned to face Dragonite again. Wartortle, water gun. A water jet shot out, not at Dragonite's body, but at the ground beneath Dragonite's feet. Shuadong raised an eyebrow. Dragonite dodged to the side, but the water jet hit the ground, and the splashing water obscured Dragonite's vision. Rapid spin. Wartortle retracted into its shell and charged out, spinning, but this time not in a straight line, but in an arc, crashing into Dragonite from the side. Dragonite reacted and blocked with its wing. Use bite. The moment Wartortle's spin hit the wing, it suddenly poked its head out of the shell and bit down. Wartortle bit onto the edge of Dragonite's wing. The moment its wing was bitten, Dragonite's movement paused for a fraction of a second. Wartortle didn't let go. Instead, taking advantage of this brief pause, it extended its limbs from the shell, hugged Dragonite's wing, and hung onto it. Rainbow's eyes lit up. Psybeam. Wartortle aimed at Dragonite's neck, and the cold beam blasted Dragonite at extremely close range. A patch of ice crystals quickly formed on Dragonite's neck, but it still didn't move at all, just shook its wing lightly. Wartortle was flung away, did a few somersaults in the air, and landed in the pool. With a splash, it kicked up a large spray of water. Rainbow rushed over. Wartortle. Wartortle surfaced from the water, lay on the edge of the pool, and panted heavily. Rainbow crouched down and reached out to stroke its head. You worked hard. Then she looked up at Shuadong on the other side. Shuadong stood there, and Dragonite had retracted its wings, standing quietly behind him. Dad, Rainbow called out. Shuadong smiled. That was a good battle. But I still didn't win. Who said you didn't win? Shuadong walked over, crouched down, and looked her in the eye. Your Wartortle, under such a huge disparity, found the only possible way to hit the opponent. Although it can't succeed every time, this kind of thinking is much more important than winning a single battle. Rainbow blinked. Really? Shuadong reached out and ruffled her hair. You can lose a match, but you cannot lose trust in your companion. In that battle just now, you believed in Wartortle from beginning to end, which is why you had the chance to hit Dragonite at the end. Rainbow looked at Wartortle beside her. In its eyes, there was not only trust in her but also a longing to become stronger and determination. Looking at the companion who trusted her, Rainbow smiled again. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. VIP chat group. Iris. Wow, this child is amazing. Ash. I get it. It's that feeling of wanting to get stronger together with your Pokemon. I was like that when I first set out. Brock. Indeed, but as a father, Shuadong's way of teaching is quite unique. Professor Oak. You can lose a match, but you cannot lose trust in your partner. That is very well said. Cynthia. And did you notice his expression? That look of gratification mixed with heartache. He seems to know this path will be very hard, but he still chooses to support his daughter. Lance. That's normal. Which father doesn't want his daughter to achieve her dreams? Cynthia. No, I mean, he seems to know more than we imagine. Lorelei. Cynthia, are you saying Shuadong can use future sight? Cynthia. Not future sight, but a kind of look that only comes after experiencing many things. Stephen. Now that you mention it, I noticed it too. In his eyes when looking at Rainbow, there really is something indescribable, as if what he sees isn't just the 5 or 6-year-old girl in front of him. Wallace. But who she will become in the future. Cynthia. Diantha. Cynthia, why did you suddenly stop talking? Cynthia. I'm wondering, if it were me, would I be like him, knowing the road ahead is arduous, yet still choosing to support the child in walking that path? Diantha. So, what do you think? Cynthia. Probably. I would too. As parents, what else can we do but support the path the child wants to walk? The footage continued to play. Time had clearly fast forwarded. Rainbow had grown a bit taller, the baby fat on her face had faded, but those large golden eyes remained as bright as ever. The scene was no longer the cerulean gym, but an unfamiliar beach. Shuadong stood in knee-deep seawater, holding an ordinary fishing rod, his posture as relaxed as if he were on vacation. Rainbow crouched on the shore, observing the water surface intently, occasionally turning her head to look at her father's movements. Daddy, do Pokemon really bite this kind of bait? They do. Shuadong yawned. But you have to be patient. Pokemon are just like people. The smart ones won't just bite at any bait. What about the stupid ones? The stupid ones have already been caught. Rainbow gave an oh of half understanding. From the distance, Misty's voice called out, Honey. Rainbow. Time to eat. Shuadong reeled in the fishing rod and waved at his daughter. Let's go, your mom is calling. Rainbow didn't move, her eyes still fixed on the water. Wait just a little longer. Wait for what? I feel like something is coming. Shuadong raised an eyebrow, glanced at his daughter, then sat back down and handed the fishing rod to her. Then you do it yourself. Rainbow took the rod, gripping it tightly with her small hands, holding her breath. The sea surface remained calm for a few seconds, then the fishing line suddenly went taut. Ah! Rainbow was yanked forward, stumbling, but Shuadong quickly steadied her shoulders. Don't rush, stay steady, feel its strength first. Rainbow bit her lip, her little face flushed red, her hands gripping the rod for dear life, beads of sweat forming on her forehead. It's not very heavy, but it's so strong. Then reel it in slowly, don't pull too hard. Rainbow reeled in little by little, the water began to churn, and a red figure could be faintly seen. It's a Magikarp. Rainbow shouted excitedly. The rod bent into an arc. The Magikarp was clearly unwilling to be caught, thrashing its tail wildly in the water. Rainbow was pulled off balance, but she refused to let go. Come on, you can do it, she encouraged herself. Shuadong watched from the side without reaching out to help. Finally, the Magikarp was dragged into the shallows, and with a flick of its tail, it splashed a large amount of water onto Rainbow's face. PFF'd. Rainbow shook her head with her eyes closed, but she still didn't let go. The Magikarp seemed to have exhausted its strength, flopped a few times on the surface, and then went still. Rainbow carefully set the rod down, crouched, and looked at the red fish, such a big Magikarp. The Magikarp rolled its eyes, its mouth opening and closing, seemingly expressing its dissatisfaction. Sorry about that. Rainbow reached out and touched its scales. I didn't mean to disturb your life. The Magikarp flicked its tail again, splashing water onto her face once more. Rainbow giggled, not angry at all. You're so fierce. Rainbow. Misty's voice came again, much closer this time. Shuadong turned back and saw Misty walking over quickly, holding a bento box. Why didn't you answer when I called you for dinner? Huh. Misty saw the Magikarp in front of Rainbow and paused. Mom, I caught a Magikarp. Rainbow shouted excitedly. Misty walked over, took a look, and then looked at Shuadong. You let her catch it herself. Shuadong nodded. Yeah. Misty fell silent for a moment, then crouched down to examine the Magikarp. The Magikarp seemed to sense something, its previously rolled back eyes turned to look at Misty. This doesn't look like an ordinary Magikarp, Misty said suddenly. Rainbow tilted her head. Look at the color of its scales, they are deeper than a normal Magikarp's, and Misty reached out and touched it gently, there's a faint golden hue. Shuadong leaned in to take a look. Oh, you're right. You didn't notice before. I never look when I'm fishing. Shuadong said righteously. Misty glared at him, then looked at her daughter. Rainbow, do you want to catch it? Rainbow's eyes lit up. Can I? That depends on if it's willing. Misty paused. But Magikarp are very temperamental after evolving into Gyarados. Are you sure? I'm sure. Rainbow didn't hesitate. Wartortle, what do you think? Wartortle patted its chest, calling out, Wartortle, Wartortle, indicating it had no objections. Misty smiled. Then you do it yourself. Rainbow pulled an empty Pokeball from her waist, took a deep breath, and crouched down to look at the Magikarp. Magikarp, would you like to be my Pokemon? The Magikarp opened and closed its mouth, seemingly in thought. 3 seconds later, the Magikarp flicked its tail and voluntarily bumped into the Pokeball in her hand. A red light flashed, and the Pokeball shook 3 times. Click. Caught successfully. Rainbow hugged the Pokeball, her eyes curving into crescents with her smile. Mom. Dad, I caught a Magikarp. General chat group. What's so exciting about catching a Magikarp? Shut up. You above. What's wrong with Magikarp? Magikarp is a Pokemon too. Exactly. And didn't you hear what Misty said? That's no ordinary Magikarp. Deeper scale color, with a faint golden hue. Could it be a shiny Pokemon? Not necessarily, it might just be an individual with better potential. Regardless, for a kid to be able to fish and catch a Pokemon on her own, that's already pretty impressive, right? Wait, how old is Rainbow now? The time skip was so fast I didn't notice. Probably 7 or 8 years old. She's a head taller than before. VIP chat group. Jiro. A golden Magikarp. Seems like I'm remembering some bad memories. Musashi. You just bought yours. Jiro. Didn't my Magikarp evolve into a Gyarados later on? Ash. You have the nerve to say that. That Gyarados didn't listen to anything, we almost all lost our lives. Lorelei. The potential of this Magikarp of rainbows is indeed good, the luster of the scales and the color of the fins are all indicators of potential. If raised well, its combat power after evolving into Gyarados will be quite impressive. Cynthia. I noticed a detail. Shuadong didn't help at all throughout the process. Steven. I noticed that too. He only steadied her to prevent Rainbow from falling, but the process of reeling in the Magikarp was completed entirely by Rainbow herself. Wallace. This kind of parenting style, how should I put it? It's like letting go and letting the child grow. Professor Oak. This is indeed a method many parents would choose. For things within the child's capabilities, letting them try and experience it themselves, failure is also a form of learning. Bruno. Well said. True powerhouses are all built by rising up from failure again and again. Stephen. However, there is one more thing I want to confirm, and that is the fishing rod. Phoebe. What's wrong with the fishing rod? Stephen. Rainbow is, after all, just a child with limited strength. The struggle of that Magikarp was definitely not small for her, but the rod remained very steady in Rainbow's hands, and there were no signs of it breaking or slipping from start to finish. Wallace. Are you saying that wasn't an ordinary fishing rod either? Stephen. Or rather, this is a fishing rod that Shuadong specially prepared for Rainbow. Cynthia. This man, every detail exudes a sense of thorough preparation. Lance. It seems without a doubt, this person named Shuadong is the true core of this series. Ash. Isn't it Rainbow? Isn't the title water-type Pokemon Master? Gary. Shut up. The scene shifted again. This time, it was the Cerulean Gym's battlefield, but standing on the stage was not Misty, but Rainbow. At this moment, Rainbow had her long orange hair draped casually behind her head, and her eyes were serious in a way that didn't fit a child her age. Opposite her was a boy who looked a few years older, wearing a look of disdain. Little girl, are you sure you want to battle me? I already have 2 badges. Rainbow nodded. I am sure. Don't cry if you lose. Only by beating me can you obtain the Cascade badge. The boy sneered. Then don't blame me. Rainbow reached to her waist, pulled out a Pokeball, and threw it. Please, Wartortle. A red light flashed, and a Wartortle, one size larger than a normal Wartortle, appeared on the field. After landing on a floating platform in the pool field, the wartortle quickly adjusted its stance, its eyes calm. The boy opposite also threw a pokey ball. Go. Jolteon. A well-trained looking Jolteon also landed on a floating platform in the pool. Its fur stood on end, and fine electrical currents coursed over its body, making a crackling sound. The boy curled his lips into a smug smile. I've done my homework for this match. Jolteon, quick attack. Jolteon turned into a yellow bolt of lightning, moving rapidly across the multiple floating platforms, its speed so fast that only afterimages remained. Wartortle, protect. Wartortle crossed its claws in front of its chest, and a pale green barrier unfolded before it. The moment Jolteon collided with it, a muffled bang sounded. It was bounced back, did a somersault in the air, and landed on a floating platform again. Interesting. The boy snorted, but how many times can you protect? Jolteon, charge. Electrical energy surged around Jolteon, and the electricity on its body became even more intense. Rainbow frowned. The power of the next electric type move after charge would double. If Wartortle were hit directly, it would be severely injured, if not knocked out instantly. Wartortle, withdraw into your shell. Rapid spin. Wartortle quickly withdrew into its shell. The shell spun rapidly on the water's surface, but instead of rushing toward Jolteon, it circled around the edge of the field. The boy was stunned for a moment, then shouted. Jolteon, ignore it. Use Thunderbolt. Jolteon looked up, its body's electricity converging above its head, and a thick golden electric beam blasted toward the direction of the Wartortle. Use water gun on the pool below. Wartortle poked its head out of its shell and used water gun on the pool beneath its feet. The water jet hit the surface of the pool, instantly kicking up a curtain of water. Thunderbolt blasted into the water curtain. The powerful current exploded the water, but it did not hit the Wartortle. What? The boy's eyes widened. Gym challenges aren't won just by relying on type advantages. Rainbow's voice remained steady. No matter how powerful your electric type moves are, they are useless if they don't hit. The boy gritted his teeth. Enough talk. Jolteon, encore. Wartortle, Psybeam. Wartortle opened its mouth, and a blue beam swept across the pool. Jolteon jumped to dodge, but the Psybeam hit the floating platform, instantly forming a layer of ice. The moment Jolteon landed, its claws slipped, and its body stumbled. Now, water gun. The water jet hit Jolteon squarely, knocking it backward into the pool, soaking it completely. Jolteon. The boy panicked. Are you okay? Now, your electric type moves will be hard to aim. Rainbow took a deep breath. Wartortle, final blow. Water pulse. Wartortle turned, its blue tail swung out violently, and a rotating water sphere glowing with blue light slammed hard into the Jolteon. Jolteon was sent flipping, its eyes turning into swirls. Jolteon is unable to battle. Wartortle wins. The referee's voice echoed across the field. The boy recalled the Jolteon, the disdain on his face long gone, replaced by frustration. He was silent for a moment, then finally walked up to Rainbow. You're strong. I lost. Rainbow chuckled. You're also amazing. I can see that your Jolteon is well trained and can perform at an even higher level. The boy was stunned for a moment, then smiled too. Are you comforting me? Not comforting, it's the truth. Rainbow said earnestly. Your Jolteon is very fast. If the pool hadn't limited its performance, Wartortle might not have been able to hit it at all. The boy looked into her eyes, confirming she wasn't just being polite, and nodded. Thank you for the advice. I will come to challenge you again next time. I'll be waiting. VIP chat group. Ash. She won. A trainer who beat someone with 2 badges at 8 years old. This is too amazing. Brock. Truly impressive. And did you notice? Her tactical thinking was very clear. First using the water curtain to block the charged Thunderbolt, then using the Psybeam to create an icy surface to restrict Jolteon's movement, and finally finishing with Water Pulse. The whole process gave the opponent almost no chance to react. Gary. HMPH, it's alright, but that challenger was too weak. Thinking he could win just by type advantage. A trainer like that is hopeless even if you give him 10 badges. Ash. Hey, can you not be so mean? He was battling seriously. Gary. What's the use of being serious? If you don't use your brain, being serious is just brute force. Ash. Who are you calling brute force? Gary. Whoever answers is who I'm talking about. Misty. You two, shut up. This is my gym's match. Can you show some respect? Misty. Though, ahem, Rainbow did fight well. Daisy. Oh my, Misty, are you praising your own daughter? Misty. Daisy. Violet. All right, we won't tease you. But seriously, for this child to pull off such tactical coordination at only 8 years old, in our world, she's definitely genius level. Lily. So it's only natural that she inherits the cerulean gym later, right? Misty. This is a great opportunity for the cerulean gym to restore its glory tilde. Misty. You guys. Lorelei. Wait a moment, did you notice? The time interval between this Wartortle's move usage is very small. It can react quickly almost the instant Rainbow issues a command. This shows that the rapport between it and Rainbow has reached a very high level. Bruno. Exactly. This is trust. Absolute trust between a Pokemon and its trainer. Lance. Bruno, can you not relate everything to trust? Bruno. It is. Look at that Wartortle, it didn't hesitate for a second from start to finish. Whatever Rainbow said, it did. This kind of rapport isn't something you can just train for. Professor Oak. The rapport between a Pokemon and a trainer does require the accumulation of time and affection. This Wartortle has been with Rainbow since she was 4. Over such a long time, they must have built a very deep emotional connection. The screen continued to advance. Yay. After the challenger left, Rainbow's previous composure was gone, and she ran over to hug Wartortle. Wartortle, you were amazing. Wartortle made, Wartortle, sounds and rubbed its head against her. Misty watched from the side, her pride undisguised, but she still said, good battle, but there are still many areas that need improvement. I know. Rainbow nodded vigorously, then turned to look the other way. Dad, how do you think I did? Shuadong sat on a chair, holding an ice cream, his expression calm. Not bad, but you should have saved Protect for an electric-type move that would have dealt more damage to Wartortle. What if the water veil hadn't blocked that thunderbolt? But I wanted to knock Jolteon into the pool, so I had to seize the gap while it was using an electric-type move. Rainbow tilted her head and thought, even if it hadn't blocked it, after the thunderbolt hit the water veil, its accuracy would have deviated, and it wouldn't have hit Wartortle. Shuadong smiled. So confident. It's what Dad taught me. Rainbow repeated solemnly, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Shuadong froze for a moment, then chuckled. Fine, I guess you put that to good use. Misty walked over, looking at the two of them in confusion. What? Know yourself and know your enemy. Did you teach her that? Shuadong shrugged. I just saw it while flipping through a book. Which book? I bought it online. How come I didn't know you had a habit of reading? It's just. Never mind, it's a long story. VIP chat group. Professor Kukui. Know yourself and know your enemy. That's not a saying from our world, right? Professor Oak. No, at least in the Kanto region, I've never heard of such a saying. Professor Rowan. Sinnoh doesn't have it either. Professor Birch. Hoenn doesn't have it. Donde. Galar doesn't have it. Ash. What kind of proverb is that? Professor Oak. I don't know. Cynthia. It's this Shuadong again. There are more and more mysteries surrounding him. Diantha. And his teaching method is very special. He isn't just teaching Rainbow how to battle, but how to think. Elisa. Know yourself and know your enemy. Isn't that the essence of battling? Wallace. Indeed. For a 7 or 8-year-old child to understand and apply this concept is already quite remarkable. Stephen. What's even more remarkable is the person who taught her this concept. Phoebe. Why is Mr. Stephen so serious today? Stephen. I have always been serious about interesting people. Wallace. You are more serious about rocks. Stephen. That is true. Ash. Even though I don't know what it is, it sounds so cool. Gary. Can you stop calling everything cool? Ash. It is cool. He knows things that none of you know, isn't that cool? Professor Oak. Ash is right about this. Ash. Did you hear that, Gary? Even Professor Oak says I'm right. Professor Oak. This person named Shuadong knows things that do not exist in our world. Cynthia. Either he comes from a place we don't know about, or. Diantha. Or he himself is not from this world. The screen froze at this point. Ding. Question time. Generating random quiz question. Question. In the recent gym battle, what is the probability of the additional effect, confusion, being triggered by the final move, water pulse, used by Wartortle to defeat Jolteon? A. 10%. B. 20%. C. 30%. D. 40%. Fastest finger first in 30 seconds. VIP chat group. Ash. Huh, isn't this testing Pokemon knowledge? What does it have to do with the video content? Brock. Ash, this is related to the video content. Rainbow's Wartortle did indeed use Water Pulse. Ash. This, who remembers that probability? Bruno. Young man, you should still read more books. Ash. Master Bruno knows. Bruno. Of course, I can't remember either. Lance. Professor Oak. Ahem, the confusion probability for Water Pulse is 20%. This is standard data I recorded while researching water type moves. Ash. Professor Oak. Don't just say it out loud. This is a race to answer. Professor Oak. Ah, right. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Clemont. Professor Oak is correct. According to the league's move database, the confusion probability of Water Pulse is indeed 20%, though this probability is affected by factors like the battle environment, so there will be slight fluctuations. Bonnie. Big brother, you're reciting the manual again. Clemont. I am popularizing knowledge. Iris. So the answer should be B. 20%. Donde. Data-wise, yes, but the question is, could there be a trap? After all, the answer to the last question wasn't what it seemed on the surface. Ryan. Donde, did you get psychological trauma from the last question? Donde. I am just reminding everyone to think carefully. Ryan. If you're afraid, you're afraid. Donde. Ryan, can you shut your mouth? Professor Birch. According to standard data, the probability should be a fixed 20%. Stephen. But what if this Wartortle isn't a normal Wartortle? Wallace. What do you mean? Glacia. If we consider too many factors, there are too many possibilities. Let's stick to the standard data. Misty. Are you guys done discussing? The countdown is about to end. Gary. Meowth grabbed the last one, and ended up getting it wrong. This one, who dares? Ash. I'll do it. Gary. Are you sure? Ash. Of course I'm sure. 20%, right, that's what Professor Oak said. Brock. Ash, don't be impulsive. Have you forgotten the lesson from the last question? Ash. I haven't forgotten. But I'm confident this time. May. Ash, are you sure it's not because your hands are itching since you didn't get to grab it last time? Ash. May, how did you know? May. Because you're too easy to read. Ash. Never mind, I'm going to grab it. Gary. Fine, go ahead. Don't cry if you get it wrong. Ash. I won't cry. The countdown ticked down 3, 2, 1. Ding. The race to answer has begun. The huge red button appeared in the center of the live broadcast room again. Ding. Fast answer successful. Congratulations to Ash for successfully grabbing the answer. VIP chat group. Brock. Ash, you actually got it. Gary. Alright, let's see how he answers. System prompt. Please answer, contestant Ash, what is the confusion trigger probability of Water Pulse? Ash was currently standing in the backyard of the Professor Oak Research Institute in Pallet Town, with Pikachu squatting on his shoulder. Pikachu, what do you think it is? Pikachu. Pika. Good. Ash took a deep breath and shouted at the light screen. I choose B. 20%. VIP chat group. Everyone held their breath, no one spoke. The light screen flickered once. Answer correct. Congratulations to Ash for winning the reward 1, Super Mystic Water. Super Mystic Water. When held, increases the power of water type moves by 200%. VIP chat group. Ash. I got it right. Gary. You actually guessed it. Ash. What do you mean guessed? I analyzed it seriously. Gary. What did you analyze? Ash. I analyzed what Professor Oak said. Professor Oak. I only stated the standard data, I didn't point out which specific answer was correct. Ash. That means it was my own judgment. Misty. Alright. Regardless, He got it right. But that reward, super mystic water, increasing water type move power by 200%. That's a bit too outrageous. Lorelei. I know about mystic water, but this super mystic water, it's my first time hearing of it. And, increasing water type move power by 200%. That's a bit too overpowered. Lance. The rewards given by the live stream really aren't ordinary goods. Cynthia. It seems the benefits of answering correctly are indeed great, but the punishment is also very severe. Ash. He. I have a reward. Pikachu, did you see that? Ash. Right, this mystic water, who should I use it on? Brock. Ash, don't you have any water type Pokemon? Ash. I do. I have Squirtle, and Kingler, Totodile, Corphish. Gary. Lucky fool. Ash. Gary, are you jealous that I got a reward? Gary. Jealous of you. I just think this item is a bit wasted on you. Ash. You, Misty. You two, stop arguing. The video is about to continue. The screen went dark, then lit up again. This time, new text appeared on the screen. Ding. Parallel World Celebrity Series, Part 1 Water Type Pokemon Master Rainbow Intermission. The next stage of broadcasting will begin in 24 hours. A new round of random Q&A will be opened at that time. Please prepare, all viewers. VIP chat group. Ash. Intermission. Does that mean it's over for today? Gary. Looks like it. Continuing in 24 hours. Brock. That's fine too. I've been watching all day, my eyes are sore. Diantha. Wait, it seems this chat function can still be used. Cynthia. It should be. The light screen won't close, but the video is paused. Steven. That's perfect. I also have some data I need to look up. Ash. Then I'm going to go train too. In an unknown forest. Jessie was holding Meowth, sitting on a tree stump in the forest. Meowth was asleep in her arms, occasionally meowing and turning over to continue sleeping. James was next to her, having built a fire, roasting a few berries. Jessie, how much longer do you think it will take for Meowth to recover? 20 hours. Jessie replied expressionlessly, only 4 hours have passed. Then we have to wait 20 hours. Otherwise, do you have any other way? James was silent for a moment. How about we try begging the live stream? Do you think it would pay any attention to you? No. Then shut up and wait. Kanto Region, Pallet Town. Professor Oak was sitting in his research institute with a bowl of instant noodles in front of him. He looked at the instant noodles, then at the light screen, hesitated for a moment, and picked up his chopsticks. This time it shouldn't be overcooked, right? As soon as he finished speaking, Ash's voice came from outside the door. Professor Oak. I'm here. Professor Oak's hand shook, and his bowl of instant noodles almost tipped over. Ash, can you knock on the door first? Oh, okay. Knock, knock, knock. Knocking sounds came from outside the door. Professor Oak. I'm here. Professor Oak sighed, put down his chopsticks, and got up to open the door. Unova region, somewhere. Iris was sitting on a tree, her legs dangling, looking at the light screen in front of her. Axew, do you think that girl named Rainbow will really be able to catch Suicune in the future? Axew poked its head out from her arms, let out an Axew sound, and tilted its head. I think she can. Iris smiled, her eyes are the same as those powerful trainers. Axew let out another Axew, expressing agreement. Then we have to work hard too. Iris jumped down from the tree. To become a dragon master, we need to do special training too. Kalos region, Lumio City. Clemont stood in his laboratory, facing a pile of instruments and the light screen. Incredible, the source of this live stream signal is completely untraceable. He pushed up his glasses. Bonnie, how do you think this was done? Bonnie was sitting on a chair, swinging her legs. I don't know, but I think it's very interesting. Interesting. This is simply a scientific miracle. Clemont waved his hands excitedly. If this technology could be cracked, the communication technology of the Pokemon world would. Big brother, why don't you fix your invention first? The last, automatic cooking machine, almost tore the house down. That was an accident. You say it's an accident every time. Clemont fell silent. Sinnoh region, Celestic Town. Cynthia was sitting in front of the window of the History Research Institute, holding an ancient book, but her eyes were fixed on the light screen. Shuadong. She whispered the name. Who exactly are you? Outside the window, the setting sun gradually sank below the horizon, and the clouds in the sky were dyed golden red. She opened a page of the ancient book, on which a silhouette of a huge Pokemon was drawn. It was exactly Lugia. If your daughter really catches Lugia, she muttered to herself, then what about you? What kind of relationship would you have with Lugia? Hoenn Region, Petalburg City. May was sitting on the steps in front of her house, holding a rice ball, while Max was constantly flipping through his notes nearby. Sis, do you think Rainbow will come to the Hoenn region to travel? I don't know. May took a bite of the rice ball, but if she comes, I wonder if she will participate in a Pokemon contest. Sis, she's a Water-type Elite Four member. So what if she's a Water-type Elite Four member? Isn't our Hoenn's Wallace Master both a champion and a coordinator master? May's eyes lit up. I really want to see her Pokemon contest performance. If Suicune and Lugia were to appear, that scene would be beautiful. Kanto Region, Saffron City. Sabrina was sitting in the meditation room of the Saffron Gym, with a cup of tea floating in front of her. She stared at the light screen, her face expressionless. Interesting. The teacup slowly descended and landed steadily on the table. She closed her eyes, and her psychic power probed toward the light screen, only to be bounced back the next second. Sabrina opened her eyes, her pupils slightly constricted. Even my psychic power couldn't penetrate it. Johto Region, a Critique City. Morty stood in front of the bell tower. Suicune. He whispered the name, his gaze falling on the cover image of the young girl on the light screen. The person chosen by Suicune, will they appear in this world as well? Kanto Region, Cinnabar Island. Blaine was sitting in a hot spring, a wet towel on his head, and the light screen was floating in the steam in front of him. Ha ha ha. Interesting, too interesting. He picked up the teacup next to him and took a sip. A little girl who can catch Suicune and Lugia, and this live stream that just popped up from nowhere. He put down the teacup and narrowed his eyes. It looks like a lot of things are about to happen. Sinnoh Region, Veilstone City. Maylene stood in the center of the training ground, with Lucario standing beside her, also staring at the light screen. Lucario, how strong do you think that person named Shuadong is? Lucario closed its eyes, as if sensing something, then opened them and shook its head. You mean, it's impossible to tell? Lucario nodded. Maylene was silent for a while, then smiled. That's true, you really can't tell just by watching the video, but the pressure from that Dragonite can be felt even through the screen. She clenched her fists. I really want to have a battle with him. Kalos Region, Shalour City. Karina stood at the entrance of the gym, standing side by side with her Lucario. Hey, Lucario, what do you think of Rainbow's Wartortle? Lucario tilted its head. I'm not talking about strength, I'm talking about that feeling. The way that Wartortle looks at Rainbow is a bit like how you look at me. Lucario was stunned for a moment, then turned its head away. Hey, why are you shy? Galar Region. Ryan stood at the highest point of the arena, overlooking the entire city. Leon, you must be thinking the same thing right now, right? He opened the chat group and glanced at Leon's avatar. It was gray, offline. TCH, he's not even online. He closed the light screen, a smile curling the corner of his mouth. Whatever, anyway, when the video continues tomorrow, you'll definitely be there. In an unknown forest, Jessie was holding Meowth, already asleep leaning against the tree stump. James was still awake, staring blankly at the fire. 24 hours. He sighed and added a branch to the fire. Meowth, come back soon. Without you, we Team Rockets won't be able to formulate our next battle plan. There was a crackling sound in the fire, and a few sparks splashed out. Meowth turned over in Jessie's arms, meowed, and went back to sleep. James looked at it and suddenly smiled. All right, it's rare for you to be able to have a good sleep. He leaned against the tree stump and closed his eyes. Good night, Meowth, Jessie. System prompt. Intermission over, livestream continues. The moment the light screen lit up again, the chat group instantly became active. VIP chat group. Ash. It's here, it's here, it's here. Ash. I'm ready. This time I'm going to get another reward. Gary. You just had dumb luck last time. Ash. It wasn't dumb luck. It was skill. Misty. Can you two be quiet? The video is about to start. Brock. Come to think of it, have you noticed that the members in this chat group seem to have increased? Professor Oak. I noticed that too. The general chat group is also expanding. It seems the number of viewers in this livestream is still increasing. Cynthia. What does this mean? Lance. It means more and more people know about this, and there might be more people lurking in the shadows than we imagine. Lorelei. Are you saying that some people who don't usually show up are watching too? Lance. Not just watching, they might even have taken some action. The countdown on the light screen finished the last second. Ding. Parallel World Celebrity Series Part 1 Water Type Pokemon Master Rainbow Part 2 begins. The scene slowly lit up. A cozy living room, balloons hung on the wall, and a cake sat on the table with 10 candles inserted. The cake wasn't big, but it was made exquisitely. The cream was white, and a squirtle was drawn on it with chocolate sauce. Happy birthday. Misty stood next to the cake, wearing light blue loungewear, her hair neatly tied behind her head, a gentle smile on her face. Shuadong stood behind her, holding a camera, adjusting the angle. Rainbow, look here. Dad, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet. Rainbow's voice came from outside the frame, carrying a hint of panic. Shuadong laughed. What's there to prepare? You're 10 years old today, you look good no matter how I take it. No, my hair. Rainbow rushed into the frame. Her smooth long hair was draped casually over her shoulders. She was a head taller than before, and the baby fat on her face was almost invisible, revealing delicate facial contours. Her golden eyes were still very bright, but they had a bit more composure. She was wearing a white dress, and the whole person looked like she had walked out of a painting. Mom, help me check, is my hair sticking up? Misty walked over and helped her straighten her hair. No, it looks great. Really? Misty pinched her cheek. My daughter looks good all the time. Rainbow's face turned red instantly. Mom. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. Misty smiled and stepped back. Come on, blow out the candles and make a wish. Rainbow stood in front of the cake, the flames of the 10 candles gently swaying in the air. She closed her eyes. The screen was quiet for a few seconds. Then she opened her eyes, took a deep breath. 10 candles, all extinguished in one breath. Yay. Rainbow clapped her hands first, her eyes smiling into crescents. Misty also clapped, and Shuadong pressed the shutter on the side. General chat group. 10 years old. This child will definitely be a beauty when she grows up. Is this the joy of raising someone? Someone, please shock the person above. Wait, 10 years old, is it time to set off on a journey? Pokemon trainers usually start their journey at 10, right? Yes. The rule in the Kanto region is 10 years old. So is the next part about her setting off. I'm so looking forward to it. VIP chat group. Ash. 10 years old. The same age I was when I started my journey. Gary. You started at 10, but you still look like you're 10 now. Ash. What do you mean? Brock. Gary means you haven't really grown much height-wise in all these years. Ash. Daisy. Come to think of it, this cake, did Misty make it? Violet. It looks like it. Misty, you can bake cakes. Misty. I can't. Violet. Maybe it's because you became a mom, so you learned. Lily. Motherhood is truly great. Misty. That's enough from you three. Lorelei. Hee, but seriously, this scene is quite heartwarming. A complete family, a healthy daughter, a husband who loves her. Bruno. Lorelei, are you trying to say something? Lorelei. Nothing, just thinking that the Misty from the parallel world must be living very happily. Misty. Professor Oak. 10 years old, according to the customs of the Kanto region, children of this age can apply for trainer qualifications and set off on a journey. Cynthia. So, the next part should be the story of Rainbow embarking on her journey. Lance. I'm looking forward to seeing how a 10-year-old child becomes a water-type Elite Four step by step. Steven. What I'm looking forward to more is what role her father will play in her journey. Wallace. What do you mean by that? Steven, a champion-level trainer, couldn't just be raising children at home. He must have his own plans. Cynthia, Mr. Steven is right. And judging from the previous educational methods, Shuadong's training of Rainbow as planned, he didn't just let her go out and venture casually. Diantha. So, what is his plan? Cynthia. I don't know, but we should be able to see it soon. The scene switched. The cake was cut, and Rainbow held a small piece, her mouth full of cream. Shuadong sat opposite her, holding a camera, still taking pictures. Dad, stop taking pictures. Why? It's your birthday today, of course I have to take more. But you've taken so many already. Not enough. That's enough. Not enough. Rainbow glared at him poutily, with cream still on the corner of her mouth. Shuadong pressed the shutter, click. This one looks good. Rainbow. Misty laughed out loud from the side. You too, can you eat properly? Mom. Dad keeps taking pictures of me. That's because you look good. Shuadong said without changing his expression. Rainbow's face turned red again. Dad. Misty walked over, sat down next to Shuadong, and glanced at the photo on the camera. This one is indeed good. Right, but this one is no good. Rainbow's eyes are closed. That's a blink. That just means it wasn't taken well. Fine, then I'll take another one. Dad. VIP chat group. Brock. Why am I suddenly a little envious of this guy named Shuadong? Gary. Envious of what? Brock. Having a gentle wife, a cute daughter, and a complete family. Ash. Brock, are you okay? Brock. I'm fine, it's just, why is there no gentle big sister who likes me, woo woo. The video continued to play. The cake was finished. Misty wiped her hands, stood up, and went to get a small gift box, placing it in front of Rainbow. This is Mom's gift. Rainbow put down her fork and carefully unwrapped the paper. Inside was a Pokeball. But it wasn't an ordinary Pokeball, this one was clearly handmade by someone. The sphere was white with light blue patterns, looking both exquisite and cute. This is. Rainbow was stunned. Open it and see. Rainbow pressed the button, and a red light flashed. A small, fluffy brown creature appeared on the table, with big ears, brown fur, and a tuft of fluffy white fur around its neck. Eevee. It blinked its eyes, looked around, then tilted its head and let out a soft, Eevee tilde. Rainbow was completely stunned. 3 seconds later. Ah, Eevee. Rainbow grabbed Eevee, jumping up on her chair, nearly tipping herself and the chair over. Shuadong was quick to steady the back of the chair, preventing a disaster. Mom, it's Eevee. The Eevee I've always wanted. Misty smiled and nodded. I had someone look for a long time to find it. It has a very gentle personality and should get along with you well. Rainbow held Eevee up high. Eevee chirped. Eevee, Eevee, its tail swaying gently, not afraid at all. Eevee, I'm Rainbow. Please take care of me from now on. Eevee tilted its head and looked at her for 2 seconds, then reached out a small paw and placed it on her finger. Eevee. Shuadong also placed a gift box on the table. Now for my gift. Rainbow's eyes lit up again, and she carefully placed Eevee on the chair. She unwrapped the paper and opened the lid. Inside was an exquisite transparent box, and resting inside was a scale. The scale was light pink, shimmering with a pearlescent luster, refracting rainbow-colored light in the sun. Rainbow carefully picked it up and held it before her eyes. So beautiful. This is a prism scale, Shuadong said. Dad, what is this for? Rainbow asked. You'll find a use for it later, Shuadong chuckled. Rainbow carefully put the prism scale back into the box and hugged it to her chest. I will definitely take good care of it. VIP chat group. Ash. Prism scale. What is that? Professor Oak. It's a rare evolution item. After a specific Pokemon holds it, it can evolve under certain conditions. Max. Which Pokemon? Wallace. Phoebus. Professor Oak. Correct, the prism scale is the key item for Phoebus to evolve into melodic. Lorelei. Shuadong giving this gift, is he implying that he knew all along that Rainbow would capture a Phoebus? Lance. Judging by his words, yes. Only Shuadong and Rainbow were left in the living room. Misty had gone to the kitchen to wash the dishes. Rainbow sat on the sofa, holding Eevee's Pokeball, her fingers gently rubbing the button on its surface. Dad. When can I set off? Shuadong put down his camera and looked at his daughter. When do you want to? I want to go now. Now. Shuadong smiled. Do you know what setting off on a journey means? I know. Rainbow raised her head, her golden eyes full of seriousness. Leaving home, facing unknown challenges alone, meeting new Pokemon, battling powerful opponents, and then, becoming stronger. Shuadong leaned back against the chair, looking at the ceiling, and remained silent for a long time. Dad, do you not want me to go? No. Shuadong sat up straight and looked at his daughter. I was just thinking about how fast time flies. Rainbow tilted her head. What do you mean? It's nothing. Shuadong reached out and ruffled her hair. You've grown up. It's time for you to go out and explore. Shuadong took a small black velvet box from his pocket. I originally intended to give you this on the day you set off. He placed the box on the coffee table in front of Rainbow. But since you've decided, let's do it now. Rainbow curiously picked up the box and opened it. Inside lay a crystal clear stone, set on a silver necklace, refracting tiny rainbow-colored lights under the lamp. This is a keystone. Shuadong's voice was very calm. You should have seen it in books. Rainbow's pupils dilated slightly. Her fingers gently touched the keystone, feeling a warm, smooth texture at her fingertips. Dad, this thing is very rare, right? There's more. Shuadong took two smaller boxes from his pocket and pushed them toward her. Mega stones for Blastoise and Gyarados. Rainbow was stunned, looking at the boxes on the table and then at Shuadong. Dad, you. Shuadong leaned back against the chair, arms crossed over his chest. Mega evolution requires an extremely deep bond between the trainer and the Pokemon. Shuadong's voice slowed down. Blastoise has been with you for 6 years. Although you captured Gyarados later, you fed it, trained with it, and talked to it every day when it was still a Magikarp. So, even if you didn't have great strength, it was still willing to follow your commands after it evolved. That is the bond between humans and Pokemon. Shuadong reached out and ruffled her hair. This power is a testament to the trust between you and your Pokemon. Remember, Mega Evolution is not a shortcut to becoming stronger, it is the manifestation of your bond. Do you understand? Rainbow put on the necklace and opened the two boxes, looking at them for a long time before finally smiling. I understand. Thank you, Dad. General chat group. I'm crying. Shuadong is such a great father. A keystone plus 2 mega stones. What kind of family background is this? It's not about the money. These things aren't easy to buy even if you have money. Calm down, upstairs. I can't calm down. VIP chat group. Brock. A keystone, mega stones, and 2 of them at that. Gary. Mega stones for Blastoise and Gyarados are not easy to get, especially the Gyarados mega stone. It is said to only be found in hidden ruins in a certain region. Ash. Wait, Mega Evolution. What is that? Gary. You don't even know about Mega Evolution. Professor Sycamore. Let me explain. Mega Evolution is a way of evolution that transcends ordinary evolution, discovered in the Kalos region. In battle, the trainer uses a key stone and the Pokemon uses the corresponding Mega Stone. When the two resonate, the Pokemon can release its hidden power for a short time. Its form changes, and its combat ability increases significantly. Professor Sycamore. However, Mega Evolution requires an extremely deep bond between the trainer and the Pokemon, not everyone can achieve it. Diantha. Indeed, Mega Evolution is proof of the bond between a trainer and their Pokemon, not just a simple increase in strength. Trainers who understand this are true Pokemon trainers. Ash. Although I still don't really understand what Mega Evolution is, it sounds amazing. Professor Sycamore. Ash, when you come to the Kalos region, I can take you to experience the mysteries of Mega Evolution yourself. Ash. Really? Then I must go to Kalos. Gary. You guy, you haven't even decided where you're going next, so don't go making promises. Ash. Of course I've decided. Where I'm going next is Delia. The Unova region. Ash, you've said it many times. Ash. Right, Unova, and then Kalos. Professor Sycamore. Haha, then I'll be waiting for you in Kalos. The video continued to play. Nighttime. Rainbow lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Evie lay beside her pillow, already asleep, its small body rising and falling with each breath. Rainbow turned onto her side, looking at the 3 small boxes on her nightstand, a keystone, blastocyte, and gyrotocyte. Then, she pulled the blanket over her head and curled up inside. VIP chat group. Daisy. Is this child nervous? Lily. She probably is. After all, she's about to set off, it's normal to be nervous. Violet. But her dad gave her so many good things, so the pressure must be high too. Brock. I actually think Shuadong didn't give her these things to pressure Rainbow, but to give her confidence. Lorelai. Brock is right. For a 10-year-old child leaving home for the first time, facing an unknown journey, the trust and support of her parents is her greatest source of confidence. Bruno. Exactly. This is what it means to pass the torch. The predecessor entrusts power to the successor, and the successor carries that power to venture out. Glacia. This is the true way of a trainer. The video continued to play. Early morning. The main entrance of the Cerulean gym. Rainbow carried a backpack, with pokey balls hanging from her waist. Misty stood in front of Rainbow, with Shuadong standing beside her, one hand in his pocket and the other holding a camera. Rainbow. Look over here. Rainbow turned her head subconsciously. With a click, Shuadong lowered the camera, took a look at the screen, and smiled. This one is good. Dad, you're taking candid photos again. I'm taking them openly and honestly, Shuadong said, his expression unchanged. Recording the moment my daughter sets off as a father's duty. Rainbow wanted to say something, but she opened her mouth and eventually just let out a HMPH, turning her head away. Misty walked over, reached out to straighten Rainbow's collar, and then spoke. Did you pack everything? Packed. Medicine. Packed. Pokemon food. Packed. Change of clothes. Mom, you've asked that 3 times already. Misty paused for a moment, then smiled and reached out to ruffle Rainbow's hair. Is that so? I forgot. Rainbow didn't dodge, letting her mother ruffle the top of her head. Mom. I'll call home often. And I'll video call often too. And I'll come back to see you often. Mom, don't cry. I'm not crying. Misty turned her face away, her voice a bit muffled. The wind is too strong. Rainbow didn't speak, just stepped forward and hugged Misty. Mom, thank you. Misty's body stiffened for a moment, then slowly relaxed, and she reached out to wrap her arms around her daughter's shoulders. Be careful on the road. If you encounter something you can't beat, just run. Don't always be the first to jump into trouble. And, Mom, Rainbow looked up, meeting Misty's eyes. I will come back, Rainbow said. When I become strong enough, I will come back to challenge you. Misty paused for a moment, then smiled. Okay, I'll wait for you. Shuadong walked over, crouched down, and looked at Rainbow at eye level. He didn't say much, just reached out and gently ruffled her hair. Go on. Rainbow nodded and turned around. She walked 3 steps and stopped. She didn't look back, just raised her right hand and waved. I'm off. Then, she took a stride and walked forward without looking back. Shuadong and Misty watched their daughter's back as it gradually grew smaller and faded into the distance. Until Rainbow's figure disappeared around the corner of the street. General chat group. Woo 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 woo, I'm crying. The moment Mom's eyes turned red, mine did too. This is the feeling of being a mother. This family is truly so warm. So that's why Rainbow later became a water-type Elite Four, because she had such a family as her backing. I can't take it anymore, I'm going to call my mom. The person above, what time is it? Never mind, my mom won't scold me. VIP chat group. Brock. I got sand in my eyes. Ash. Brock, are you crying? Brock. I'm not, I'm just a bit moved. Gary. You are definitely crying. Brock. Fine, I am crying. What about it? Is it not allowed? Delia. Ash, the day you set off, Mom cried too. Ash. Really? How come I didn't know? Delia. Because you left without looking back, just like your father did back then. Ash. Gary. Genetics really is a scary thing. Ash. Gary, shut up. Lorelai. Hee hee, but honestly, this farewell scene reminds me of when I left home back then. Bruno. Oh, Lorelei, you cry too. Lorelei. Bruno, do you want to experience the feeling of being frozen? Bruno. I didn't say anything. Professor Oak. Ahem, getting back to the point, Rainbow's departure marks her official step onto the path of a trainer. The journey ahead is where her true growth begins. Cynthia. Professor Oak is right. Judging from previous clips, Shuadong's education has laid a very good foundation for her, but having left the protection of her parents, how far she can go still depends on herself. Lance. I am very much looking forward to it. A 10-year-old child setting off on a journey with a Blastoise and a Gyarados, and even possessing Mega Evolution, this setup is enough to crush the vast majority of her peers. Iris. What I'm most concerned about now is, where will Rainbow's first stop be? There are many towns in the Kanto region, which gym will she challenge first? Lance. Following the route of a typical trainer, starting from Cerulean City, the closest ones should be Vermilion City or Pewter City. The video continued to play. A wide road, with vast fields on both sides and hills in the distance. Rainbow walked on the road, carrying a backpack, with 3 Pokeballs hanging from her waist. Eevee didn't stay in its ball but walked by her feet, its small body bouncing around in the grass, occasionally calling out, Eevee, Eevee, chasing after the Rattata by the roadside. Eevee, don't run too far. Eevee. Eevee jumped out of the grass, holding a leaf in its mouth, and shook it triumphantly at Rainbow. Rainbow crouched down, took the leaf, and smiled while petting its head. Alright, I know you're very happy, but we need to get moving. Eevee let out an Eevee sound, rubbed against her palm, and then obediently followed at her feet. Rainbow stood up and looked up at the sky. Blue sky and white clouds, the sunlight was just right. She took a deep breath, the corners of her mouth slightly upturned. Alright, heading to Pewter City. General chat group. Ah, so cute. Eevee is really too cute, I want to raise one too. This child's smile is so healing. This is youth. Setting off on a journey at 10 years old, what a wonderful age. The person above, how old are you? 28. You are also in your youth. Always in youth. VIP chat group. May. So cute. Eevee seems so close to her. Max. Sister, was it like this when you set off on your journey? May. When I set off, actually, I didn't really want to be a trainer at first. Max. Right, you wanted to become a Pokemon coordinator. May. It's different now, because being a trainer and a Pokemon coordinator don't conflict with each other. Wallace. Well said. Many people have misconceptions about Pokemon contests, thinking that only Pokemon coordinators can participate. In reality, many powerful trainers also participate in Pokemon contests as a way to train their Pokemon's expressiveness and control. The video continues. On this day, carrying dreams and the blessings of her family, Water-type Master Rainbow embarked on her trainer journey. Her legend begins here. The video freezes here, turning into a silhouette of Rainbow and Eevee looking into the distance. Ding. It's quiz time. Random quiz question generating. Question. What is the main use of the prism scale that Rainbow received from her father, Shuadong? A. Used to make high-grade Pokemon food. B. A key item for Phoebus to evolve into Melodic. C. An accessory to increase the power of water-type moves. D. Used to synthesize a rare potion. The buzzer round starts in 30 seconds. VIP chat group. Don. Prism scale. Oh, I know. Professor Oak just said it. It's used for Phoebus to evolve into Melodic. Joanna. Hee. Don remembers it quite accurately this time. Don. Because I watched it carefully. And Melodic is so beautiful, of course I remembered. Lorelei. Hee. After Phoebus evolves into Melodic, there is indeed a huge change. Similar stories are circulated in many regions. Cynthia. There are similar legends in the Sinnoh region too. It is said that the reason Phoebus can evolve into Melodic is because they never give up on their pursuit of beauty deep in their hearts. Diantha. Such a romantic saying. Jessie. So the answer is obvious, right? B. James. Wait, Jessie, you're jumping to conclusions so quickly. Jessie. Isn't it, James? What if we get tricked like last time? Meowth. Enough. Don't make me recall those terrible memories, Meowth. Clemont. From a scientific point of view, the prism scale indeed only has an evolutionary effect on Phoebus. As for the other options, A. Used to make high-grade Pokemon food. Although the prism scale does contain rich trace elements, it is too luxurious to use as food, and there is no evidence that it has this use. Ash. So it's B, right. Brock. I think it's better to be cautious, after all. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Ding. The buzzer round has started. A huge red button appeared again in the center of the light screen. This time, the buzzer speed was faster than before. Ding. Buzzer success. Congratulations to Iris for winning the buzzer. Unova region, Village of Dragons. Iris was sitting cross-legged on a thick branch of a large tree, with Axew lying on the branch next to her, using its claws to scratch its fangs. When the 4 big characters, buzzer success, popped up in the center of the light screen, Iris almost fell off the tree. Eheh. She grabbed the branch next to her in a panic, and Axew was also startled by her movement. I won the buzzer. Iris stared at the light screen with wide eyes. Axew, did you see that? I won it. The elder of the Village of Dragons walked out of the house, looked up at Iris on the tree. What's wrong? Why are you shouting so loudly? Elder, I won the quiz. Iris jumped down from the tree, landing steadily, still holding Axew in her arms. It's that quiz in the livestream. The elder was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Oh. Then you have to think carefully. There is a penalty for answering wrong. Iris's smile froze on her face. Penalty. She looked down at Axew, and Axew also looked up at her. The human and the dragon both shivered at the same time. VIP chat group. Dawn. I didn't even see the button. How can someone have such fast hand speed? Iris. Of course. My hand speed is very fast. Ash. I wanted to grab it too, just a little bit off. Gary. You were just lucky last time. Even if you grabbed it this time, you might not answer correctly. Ash. Gary. I want to settle the score with you right now. Gary. Hey, that's really too bad. I'm not in Pallet Town right now. Brock. Ash, let's listen to how Iris answers first. Iris. Just now, Professor Oak and Mr. Wallace both said that the prism scale is the key item for Phoebus to evolve into melodic. Lorelei. So you are choosing B. Iris. Wait a minute. Iris. The answer to the last question wasn't what it seemed on the surface. Could there be a trap in this question too? James. You finally realize this problem. Our Meowth is a lesson from the past. Meowth. Can you not mention it, Meowth? Clemont. Analyzing from a scientific perspective, the role of the prism scale is conclusive in the academic world. It is a specific item that promotes Phoebus evolution. Other options. A. Used to make Pokemon food. Although the prism scale does contain trace elements, there is no record of it being used in food processing. Clemont. Option C. As far as I know, the prism scale does not have the effect of increasing the power of water-type moves. Clemont. Option D. Used to synthesize a rare potion. Although I know a little, it shouldn't be considered the main use, so overall, the most accurate answer is still B. Bonnie. Wow, brother is so amazing, he analyzed all the options. Clemont. Haha, just average tilde. Iris. But, what if this livestream doesn't follow the rules? Dawn. It shouldn't, right? The previous personality question was difficult, but it was a professional judgment of Pokemon personality, not a random question. Reality. Iris stared at the countdown on the light screen as it ticked away, then took a deep breath. I choose B. The key item for Phoebus to evolve into melodic. VIP chat group. Brock. Logical and coherent, it should be the correct answer. Ash. Looking forward to the reward, what special thing will it be this time? Suddenly, a bright red alert popped up on the light screen. Answer incorrect. Penalty. Forced to mimic the demonic running posture of Mega Starmie for 10 minutes, unable to stop during this time. Image. Iris's figure quickly appeared on the light screen. Iris was standing in the courtyard of the Village of Dragons. She was originally preparing to welcome the good news of getting it right, but the next second she was dumbfounded. What? Wrong. What the hell is this penalty? Before she finished speaking, an invisible force controlled her. I saw Iris's legs suddenly straighten, Her joints twisted as she took steps, swaying left and right like a mechanical puppet. Her running posture was weird and demonic, exactly the same as Mega Starmie's running posture. Let me go. I don't want to be so embarrassed. Iris was both ashamed and angry, wanting to stop but unable to control her body at all. The whole person was like a toy with a tightened spring, starting to circle around the courtyard of the village of dragons at a constant speed, constant amplitude, and constant posture. PFF'd. The elder on the side couldn't help it and laughed out loud. Elder. Don't just laugh. Help me think of a way. Iris shouted while running. Her voice also became shaky with the movement of her body. This thing won't stop. The elder sipped her tea and said slowly, the penalty description says 10 minutes, just persist a little longer. 10 minutes. It's already been about 30 seconds now. The elder looked at the clock in the room. Come on. Elder. VIP chat group. Jesse. What is this? Ahahaha. James. Ha ha ha. This running posture is too demonic. It looks like it has no bones. Don. I shouldn't be laughing, but, PFFT. Ash. Sorry, I can't help it either. Ha 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 ha. May. Iris, are you okay? Iris. Not okay at all. I can't stop. Brock. This posture is indeed very impactful. Gary. Not just impactful, it's simply a mental attack. Cynthia. Didn't expect there to be such a penalty. Although it doesn't hurt people, it's too socially dead. Diantha. Cynthia, are you holding back laughter right now? Cynthia. I am not. Diantha. I don't believe it. Cynthia. Fine, a little bit. Professor Sycamore. Mega Starmie's running posture. I have studied mega evolution for so many years, this is the first time I have seen a human perfectly replicate it. Assistant Sophie. Professor, why do you seem to appreciate it? Professor Sycamore. Cough, scientific observation, purely scientific observation. System prompt. Incorrect answer. Correct answer. D. Used for synthesizing a certain rare potion. VIP chat group. Clemont. What? D. Isn't it B? Isn't the prism scale used to evolve Phoebus into melodic? Bonnie. Looks like Big Brother was wrong again. Brock. But Professor Oak and Mr. Wallace clearly said just now. Professor Oak. Ahem, well, I did say that the prism scale is a key item for evolving Phoebus into melodic. In our world, that is an accepted fact, but in a parallel world, things might be different. Wallace. Professor Oak is right. It seems we cannot completely use the common sense of our world to judge things in a parallel world. Cynthia. This is a very important reminder. This live stream room is showing another parallel world. The rules, the uses of items, and even the ecology of Pokemon there might differ from our world. Lance. That's true. After all, the existence of this Shuadong already indicates that there are quite a few differences between the two worlds. Lorelei. Doesn't that mean we have no way to use our world's knowledge to answer the questions? Professor Sycamore. Not necessarily. The questions in this live stream room should all be designed based on the video content that has already been played. As long as you watch the video carefully, you can find the answer. Ash. But, when it was introduced at the beginning, Melodic was clearly among Rainbow's ace Pokemon, right? Gary. But when Shuadong gave the prism scale to Rainbow, he only said, you will need this in the future, and didn't say it was used to evolve Phoebus. So, the purpose of this prism scale he gave to Rainbow might indeed not be to directly evolve Phoebus. Ash. Then tell me, where can you tell that this prism scale is used to synthesize rare potions? Gary. How would I know? Ash. Ha, there is a time when you get stumped by me. Gary. Shut up. Hoenn region, Littleroot town. Professor Birch was sitting in the research institute, his desk piled high with various documents. Prism scale is a potion ingredient. He kept flipping through the documents on the table. I feel like I've seen this setting in some ancient text. His assistant leaned over from the side. Professor, which text are you talking about? It seems to be something excavated from some ruins a long time ago. Professor Birch stood up and walked to the bookshelf. I remember there is a manuscript that recorded some lost medicinal recipes. He started searching the bookshelf, and dust fell down with a rustle. Ahem. Where is it? Professor, would you like to put on a mask first? No need, no need, I found it. He pulled a yellowed manuscript from the deepest part of the bookshelf and opened it to a page. On it was a drawing of a flask, with several ingredients listed next to it. One of the drawings was clearly a prism scale. As I thought, Professor Birch's eyes lit up. In the ancient times of our world, the prism scale was indeed used as a potion ingredient. It's just that this technique was lost later on. VIP chat group. Professor Birch. Everyone, I just found it. In the ancient times of our world, the prism scale was indeed used as a potion ingredient. It's just that this technique was lost later on. Professor Oak. Oh, is that so? Professor Birch. Yes, I have a manuscript in my hand that was excavated from ruins. It records that the prism scale can be used to synthesize a certain potion, but what specific potion it is, what its effects are, and what the formula is, are not written on the manuscript. Cynthia. So, it is very likely that some techniques lost in our world exist in parallel worlds, because the historical trajectory is different. Professor Oak. It is possible. The historical trajectory of the parallel world is different from our world, so some techniques that were lost in our world may have been passed down there. Professor Sycamore. This discovery is too important. If we can figure out the potion formulas of the parallel world, perhaps it can help our world restore some lost techniques. Clement. This is the power of science. By comparing the differences between the two worlds, we can acquire brand new knowledge. Bonnie. Big brother, you're at it again. Clement. I am contributing to science. Alola region, Mele Mele Island. Professor Kukui stood on the playground of the Pokemon school, looking at the discussion on the light screen, stroking his chin. The settings of the parallel world are different from our world. He muttered to himself, then, will the Z moves of the Alola region also be different in the parallel world? His gaze fell on the light screen. Will this little girl come to Alola? Mallow walked over from the side. Professor Kukui, what are you thinking about? I was thinking, if Rainbow came to Alola, in what way would she battle us? Professor Kukui smiled. And we in that world would also be quite different, right? Kalos region, Lumio City. Professor Sycamore stood in the laboratory. In front of him was a huge projector, and the content on the light screen was projected onto the entire wall. Assistant, help me record this. Okay, Professor. How big is the difference between this parallel world and our world? Are only a few details different, or are the rules of the entire world different? The assistant hesitated for a moment. Professor, this question might need more data to answer. I know. Professor Sycamore nodded. So we must continue watching. Village of Dragons. Iris's punishment finally ended. She slumped on the ground like a pile of mud, panting heavily, her legs still twitching involuntarily. Is it over? Axew walked over cautiously and rubbed its head against her face. Axew. Iris rolled over, lying on her back, looking at the sky. I will never answer out of turn again. The elder walked out of the house and handed her a glass of water. Drink some water first. Iris took the glass, took a big gulp, and then let out a long sigh. Elder. Who exactly created this live stream room? The elder was silent for a while, then looked up at the sky. I don't know, she said, but whoever it is, an existence capable of doing such a thing, is not something we can easily fathom. Iris sat up and looked at the light screen. Then, what would I in the parallel world be doing? The elder smiled. Perhaps in some place, she is also working hard to become a dragon master. Iris was stunned for a moment, then also smiled. That would be great. That's the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming soon.
Thanks for watching my video. Please like and share it.